Hello, welcome to Waiting for Game, podcast presented to you by Melee Stats. I am your host, Gimme That Wheat, and my co-host here today, Ambi Sinister. What is up, Ambi?
What's up, dude?
And hanging out with I got to hang out with Ambi and Edwin Budding from Melee Stats. I got to hang out with them recently in person. Was a really really great experience to get to see these people who I haven't seen in in person in forever. A very humbling experience because I kind of towered over both of them. But on the podcast here
Humbling for
today,
you.
we have someone who is going to dwarf even myself. My little 6'2" boy frame can't handle the
You got all this stewed.
the large all this stewed. Can't handle all this stewed. And if you haven't guessed it by now, our guest for this week's episode's none other than Studebacher Hoch. What is up, Stude?
Not much, man. Not much. I'm glad to be on the pod once again.
Yeah.
I think 2 times secures me now as friend of the pod, Studebacher.
Hey, one time.
So,
You get it after one. Yeah,
I get after
you
one.
after
Okay,
one.
cool. I'll milk that. I'll put it
And then
in my
you
Twitter
get
bio.
a rule that we established
No.
that we have never actually lived up to is 5 episodes you get a jacket.
Yeah, it's rough because
Oh,
Aiden
okay,
has been
okay.
up 4 times.
Yeah.
So we don't really want to buy him the jacket, but we do want him to come back. So it's a little rough. We're in a bit of a rough spot
man.
with him.
Riding a thin line. No, that's like what is it? It's like keeping you right at like 35 hours a week. Just not 40.
Yeah, we don't no health insurance
no.
given out.
No. Can't do that.
But yeah, it's gonna be a pretty great weekend of Smash across any and all Smash games. Stu, do you ever get tired of people calling you tall or large?
No, it's kind of like it's like a free little bit of celebrity, you know.
Okay, cool.
I never want to be famous because like people already come up to me so much, and like I'll be like in the grocery store and they'll be like, "How tall are you?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm 6'7", and they're like, "Wow, that's what I guessed," and I'm like, "That's great. That's so great for you. Like, I'm gonna go now. I got a dip."
I will say, as the guesser in a lot of scenarios, it does feel great to get it right. There was some guy.
When you nail it, yeah, that's a dopamine hit for you. But for me, I'm just the unwitting subject.
Yeah, I hate to be the guy that says anything, so I don't say anything. There was a guy in college who I hung out with a lot, like since the first week of like freshman year, and then it was like October or something. It was like months, and I was like, okay, I got to say something. Yeah,
was he just like huge?
No. I said, I turned to him and I said, "You're 6'5", right?" And I felt like that was better. I felt like if I broached it like the conversation with my guess,
yeah,
it was a little better than asking him. And I don't know, maybe it was.
You hit the nail on the head.
But I'm glad that you're okay with us bringing it up because we've got a weekend of Smash that is as large as yourself coming up.
I love the segue. We do. We've got Low Tide City coming up, which is a tournament I am eternally fond of. I have been going to Low Tier City since Low Tier City 4, which is my first major. I moved down to Texas and in like 2016, and I remember watching Mango HBox play, and also lucky getting that 4 stock on HBox. Super great tournament, and now we've just kept running it. This is our 8th installment. It is Low Tide City this time. We partnered with Riptide to be able to bring a tournament. I can't say we. Sorry, I'm technically unaffiliated right now for reasons we'll get to. So it's going to be a good time though. But we've got a lot of heavy hitters. It's coming up this weekend at the Kalahari Resort in Round Rock, Texas. We've got something like, I think, 1,800 unique entrants.
It's crazy.
Let me take a quick look.
Yeah, it looks like Smash GG says just under 1,700. So
yeah, okay, yeah.
Didn't quite cross that big 1,800 mark.
No, unfortunately. Yeah, so 1,695. We have had some folks dropping out because of COVID concerns and like other obligations. HBox was the obvious first seed for Melee. HBox is no longer attending. We did give him restreaming permissions. He just has something going on in Orlando this weekend, I think, that he needed to attend to. So that kind of frees up the field in a really interesting way, I think.
Yeah. I think that so as Smash kind of trickles back, we get to see, like the firsts of everything. Summit 11 being the first tournament that we saw to like a large
Yeah.
extent. And then Riptide obviously was the first like open major. So we
Yeah.
had the first like major,
Open
then we had the
bracket.
first open major.
Mhm.
And I think that Low Tide City, we talk about HBox dropping, but I don't think it's a really bad thing because what we have here is this is like a really stacked regional. This is something that we would see like kind of like a full bloom or a battle of BC or one of those things that in a normal year we would see as this event where you know you don't have any of the top five, but you have like everyone from 6 to 15 or something.
Yeah.
And I think that this is a really cool thing because as we are trying to get a grasp of how people are doing on land, like anytime you have any competition in Smash in Melee, people are going to try to make a ranking. So like
Of
it is
course.
very helpful to get an idea of where people are kind of slotting in and having the opportunity to have a bunch of those players who are like just underneath the top echelon of players. I think that's really going to open it up.
Yeah. No, I mean there's plenty of heavy hitters. I think S2J is the first seed now, which is pretty exciting, honestly. Um, I always love seeing Johnny make a run, and so it should be an interesting thing. A few other hitters we've got. Let's see.
I know Axe is the other
Yeah.
big one. I think those two are like the clear favorites in the
Mhm.
field. But like there's some fun people. Like there's Zamu, fresh off of his big win at the
Oh yeah.
Trail Invitational.
That is true.
Uh,
Ginger also as well. Gatsu, of course, always a good mainstay. Shroomed. Shroomed is like the biggest wild card, I think, because Shroomed can either place like 25th or like top 5 of the event, right? Um,
Literally no idea.
yeah,
No idea what to say
no.
for Shroomed.
I actually have a really funny story about Shroomed for last low tier city. So it's Saturday morning. It's everything starting for singles. 10 a.m. Bleary eyed, hungover, tired, hungry smashers coming in at 10 a.m. Um, and Shroom's pool is starting to run. Now Shroomed, as you may know, is a bit of a party animal. The dude, he's just really fun and he loves going out. And he goes out on Friday night when he has 10 a.m. pools and oversleeps. But we don't double DQ him because for TOs, for those of you that don't TO, a lot of people are like, no, why would you double DQ? Just DQ to losers and hash it out later, double DQ later. But the issue with single DQing is what it comes next. Because you're kind of in a damned if you do, damned if you don't, where it's like you single DQ, you ruin losers, you double DQ, and people get like, well, you brought Shroomed out. What was the point? Shroomed, now our favorite player is not playing. Rah, rah, rah. Everybody's mad either way. Shroomed proceeds to go from first round losers to 5th place at the tournament. There were people, O'Reilly, the
really?
Midwest Falcon player, got, I think, 33rd, losing to Hungry Bucks, who won the tournament, and Shroomed, who got 5th. And so now Tourney Locator double DQs.
Now, I believe so. I don't want to. Here, let me see if I can find this. I believe that this was not the first time that this has happened to O'Reilly losing
No.
to someone in losers. I think was it Shroomed as well.
It might have been Shroomed twice, honestly.
God, what a cursed existence.
no.
Just
dude.
a trail of destruction behind him, honestly. It's it's rough, man.
Well, we'll see if history repeats itself.
Okay, so Fizz from Illinois is saying that it was shroomed both times for 49. That's even worse. No.
Oh god.
Oh yeah. No, I think
Yeah, so I have a tweet here from June 14th, 2019, from O'Reilly. After this weekend, my bracket has been ended early, quote unquote, at 3 separate majors by playing Shroomed, who got DQ'd into losers for not being on time.
3. Oh my god, we let him get away with 3. That's ridiculous.
God, what a Eric, write that down. That's a Melee stats video.
Oh my god, what a mess. That might be
But,
that might be a good Melee Stats video. Y'all have been pumping out some really good YouTube content.
Oh, you've seen nothing yet.
Oh, I'm
That's
excited.
all I'll say.
I'm excited.
yeah, we've got some heaters coming up.
Okay, super. It's hard for me personally for y'all to top Bananas Michael, because that is just one of my favorite moments in video, in all of Melee's history.
That
another
that
great video.
Ambi can speak a lot on this video, but my favorite thing about Michael Bananas is that we didn't really make a definitive statement on whether or not playing like that is lame, playing like that is cool, wobbling should be banned, wobbling should be not. We tried really hard to tell the story and not take a hard stance on anything, and because of that, it's like this perfect reflection where everyone watches it and just sees either they're like, oh, they agree with me, or like they're wrong, they disagree with what I'm saying. And we get so many comments, and it'll just be like back-to-back comments to this day still. The video's been out for like a year. So to this day, we'll still get comments, and one will be like, great video, this is awesome, and then the second one will be like, horrible video, I can't believe you would say talk about wobbling like this or whatever.
No, it's it's a trip, honestly. Like whenever you put something out there that's just like just the facts, people are just going to interpret it however they want, honestly.
Yeah,
but
that was a very funny video, because I think that we didn't even really intend it to be that way. Because I do think that the Melee Stats videos, we usually do try to say something with it. There usually is some sort of overarching philosophical point to the videos or whatever. But the big point of the video that we made about Michael and Bananas, it wasn't oh, this player is lame and this player is not lame. It was more the construct of lame is so interesting. And it's really cool when you look really hard at the whole construct and none of it makes any sense. It's like when you spelled the same word over and over again and it just stops looking like a
I was
real
looking
word.
at the word Tuesday today because I have to work on commentary schedules. My guy Tuesday is he's coming to Low Tide. He's going to be commentating on the mic with us. And it's just like Tuesday. It just means nothing after a certain point, and that's kind of what comes with it. I think Jack Zilla described it best when he said, "Michaels and Bananas play avant-garde melee." They're playing against what is normally the grain of what needs to be cool or hype. They're playing something entirely different and new, and it's avant-garde melee.
That's amazing. Yeah.
Yeah.
Jackzilla, great guy. Because he comes up with those gems, but also I feel like I am being every time I talk to him, I feel like it's like a man on the street segment where he's walking up to me and it's supposed I always feel off guard, even if it's just a casual conversation. If I see him in a major, I'm like, how do I react to this? What's the play here?
Yeah. What are you expecting me to say, and what are you hoping to glean from that? No, yeah. Crazy stuff. But yeah, I think the big storyline here that I'm most excited for Low Tide is seeing if Axe is going to kind of come out of this haze or this slump. Axe is one of my favorite players. I think he's one of the best players in the world, without a doubt. I don't think it's just a Pikachu thing. But it's been really interesting to see, where he's been at over quarantine, where he kind of struggled over net play, and then even with Summit and even with Riptide, where he lost out pretty early in bracket to Secrets, the Colorado Fox player, who is, I think, also could possibly be playing him this event.
Yeah, I think they're seeded to meet.
Yeah,
I think he has to beat Unsure, which might be kind of hard. But I think if he beats Unsure, he plays Axe again, which would be very funny.
It would be pretty hilarious, honestly.
Is it still like that with pools? I thought pools changed a little bit.
They might have shifted around. Let me crack a look at those.
I have here he would have to play the enigmatic no fluxes.
Oh my god! Did y'all see that villain tweet?
Oh no, that's a great tweet.
It's sterling. Honestly.
I've seen a lot of no fluxes tweets. I mean, I don't follow him. I don't tend to look for his tweets, but
they just find us. They find us. It's something. But I do want to see Axe like come out of the slump and really show us what he's got. He did place pretty well even with everything considered. I think he got 7th at Riptide. Let me check that.
Yeah, I think he got 5th because he beat
5th.
Logan in
That's right.
in losers quarters, and
Mhm.
then or
And
losers
SFAT.
8ths. And then that I think he got like 3-0'd by
He got
SFAT.
3-0'd. I remember specifically because I had $50 riding on it with Envy.
Ooh.
I said,
That's a
I'll
rough
put
bet, I think.
it with the head-to-head they've had. It is kind of rough, but I was like, I'll put 50 on Axe just.
Did you get 1-1 too?
I got
extra
1-1
rough.
odds. And end of game 1 happens, and this is not my proudest moment because game 1 was like a 3 stock or a hard 2 stock, and I look over at Verchillo, I look over at Nick, and I'm like, yeah, so what's your Venmo?
Hey, Stu, don't listen to the next thing I'm about to say. Ambi, dude, we are gonna make so much money from Stu.
No, dude. My side bet history is notoriously bad.
We're really gearing up.
I play by heart, and you guys are the statisticians. Leave me alone.
We're gonna be like me, Edwin, and Ambi. We're gonna be like 3 separate Adam Sandlers from Uncut Gems. For the first 90% of the runtime, at least.
Oh no.
We'll be like that at Genesis or whatever the first big major that we're all go to is.
Yeah, it's I can't think about that movie without thinking of S2J's tweet about that movie. Do you guys remember that?
Was it like those people who like, dude, saw The Wolf of Wall Street? That's hustle, man. The grind mindset.
Yeah, it was kind of like that. He was like, yeah, just saw Uncut Gems. Thought it was a sick movie. Really makes me think I need to try a lot harder grinding at Melee/poker.
I don't think that's what you're supposed to take away from it. You know?
Oh no, he was like, it sucks that he was bad to his family though.
He saw it whooshing and then like reached up at the last minute. Was okay, you know.
I think that this gave me a great idea. Get Walt on the phone.
Oh my god, dude.
Walt is the dude has any idea, and you can give him any idea about Melee.
Yeah.
And he'll be like, yeah, I thought of the same thing. We should do like a variety show, and it should be people in the Smash community and like Smashers, commentators and stuff like that. They each get their own little segment. And S2J segment would be like film analysis with S2J. And we'll have him watch like the 7th Seal or something, and then talk to him about it.
Yeah, so what did you think the meaning of the movie Wall Street with Gordon Gekko was? I thought he was a really good guy. It's a shame he got caught.
Yeah, it just shows that bad stuff can happen to good people, I guess.
Oh man.
But yeah, we'll see if he ends up like Adam Sandler in this bracket.
Yeah, and of course, Lucky and Albert are actually seeded to play before top 16. The last time they met in person, I think, was at Low Tier City 7, and Albert won that set. So I'd be interested to see how that swings out. Albert hasn't really been doing a whole lot of the net play grind, like a lot of other folks have.
Mm-hmm.
Other net play grinders really that are coming around. Kodorin, of course, shining new god of SoCal. And Bobby Big Balls as well.
Yeah, it'll be really cool to see because we have a bracket full of people who you mentioned. Axe is someone who we did see enter a lot of net play stuff, a lot of stuff on Slippy. We just didn't see Pikachu, and we mainly saw Ices and Young Link and Marth and Falco. And when we did see the Pikachu, it was not really in a position where he could go all of those secondaries and still. It wasn't like a don't test me Scorpion Master thing. But like you said, he had the Lost to Secrets. I think his like how he's been doing on land has been pretty decent. 5th place at Riptide, and I think did he get top 8? I think he got top 8 at Summit as well.
Yeah. I just want to see my man's performing like 2019 when he was really cooking up everybody, it felt like. But
I kind of like this new X. I think my favorite thing about this, right, is that he's not bad. Right. He's like back to being good, I think.
Yeah, I think he's
but he's like
basically
Schrodinger's
come out of the
Pikachu.
slump, but I just want to see more consistency so I can be sure.
I kind of don't. I kind of like this because I feel like he could just lose any set, but he doesn't, and it's like really funny.
Yeah,
Like him losing to secrets and then running it all the way to 5th was
it's
hilarious.
crazy.
Like
It was like
I remember
round
him
one
playing
of round two
Wally, and I
pools
was
or
like,
something.
he's toast, bro. There's no way he's getting past Wally. And that was wild.
Yeah, I remember he like he went to game 3 with Trail or something like that. That's so
Yeah.
sick.
Yeah, he
Yeah.
like Trail said that he was a hit confirm away from getting it.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Dude.
No, I was looking at because it was round one pools. He lost to secrets and winners finals of his pool, and then Axe proceeded to play like I think 12 sets, something like that, because he went
Nuts.
through 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then to top 24 was 7, 8, 9, and then 10. It would have been 11 in a row, so 11 sets. Which is so much melee at a high tournament level to play. Because you think about winners, they play comparatively like something like 5 or 6. Like,
yeah, I feel like I played 4 sets of tournament melee, and I'm like,
I'm
need to lie
zooted,
down.
you know, I'm tired.
Yeah, I mean, so the way that we describe him, I think is really funny because like in my head, the idea of someone who could lose to anyone, but like really does have the chance to make it really late in bracket, I think could describe a lot of people. Like this was famously the West Balls thing, but the way that I'm viewing it now, when you said that, the thing that immediately pops in my mind is online Hungry Box. And I think it's like super sick because also online Hungry Box, you have like the existential dread when he eventually like comes back on them.
Yeah.
And then you're like, oh god, he's got like Aklo into SFAT. He's gonna win. Like you like piece it together at some point. It's like, damn, he got past Otez. He's gonna win this entire thing. But Axe, I think it's like the existential dread doesn't really exist. So that's a little more fun.
It's a different emotion.
Yeah, because
right.
like you want to see Axe win. I think most people do, you know.
I am okay with seeing him win. I am okay with seeing him lose. This might make me dead in the heart. But
no, that is
if he gets 65th, that's really funny. If he gets 4th, that's great. I am an absolutist when it comes to Axe. I like whatever
stats.
I really think all the outcomes for him are very funny.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
If he wins the tournament, that's great. Like if he won Riptide, that would have been wild. And if he got like 193rd or something, that would have been great.
He could have too. We could have. If Trail got that hit confirm, what alternate reality would we'd be living in?
I wonder what that would have been for.
Yeah,
probably like maybe 97th, 65th, somewhere around there.
I think it was 97th. Yeah, that's
I
crazy.
think 65th is what he got. He lost to D-Lou, RT D-Lou at was that Big House 5 or 6?
I think it was 6.
Okay, I think it was 6 as well. Yeah, because that was when Zane beat Plup. And then Axe got 65th because he lost to Zoo.
Yeah,
losers. Everyone forgets about that. That's so funny though.
Zoo's really still so good at the game.
Yeah.
So I was mentioning this the other day, not to get off topic. I think it might have been today, but that could be the other day. Time's all relative. I mentioned this in the Melee Stats Discord server, link to which I used to say in the description. I don't know if we put them in the description. But
no, that's in the description, I think.
The link to which is going to be in the description of this video.
There you go.
And I was talking about how I really want an old school player to like give it their all and come back because I think that they're just going to get washed. Zoo, I don't want that to happen too.
I think Zoo would honestly just come back and start placing really well.
He'd be okay. He'd be decent. There's a lot of top players who I think that they would be like, I'm gonna grind again, and then like they see like Eggy or SFOP or something, just like demolished.
It's all these new kids. Speaking of SFOP, I think that like personally for me, Ben is one of my favorite players. SFOP is like undoubtedly Texas's, at least Dallas's number one. It's hard to say because we haven't had much intermingling. There hasn't been like a regional for Melee. And we had a PM regional before we had a Melee regional. It's really weird. But yeah, he's currently projected to lose to S2J, which might be a hard one for him just because we don't have many high-level Falcons other than Salt in Texas, period. And then he is projected to beat Billy Bo Peep, which is kind of a toss-up for me because they've traded sets in the past. Billy has had a better track record against top players. I think he was in the top 40 last year, last time we had a ranking. Had wins on like Shroomed, had wins on S2J. Really, really crazy good player. And
both from the last Low Tide City, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah, so that could be other ways. So we could see SFOP in top 16 losers. I'd be interested to see his set with S2J. That is something I'm really excited for. The only thing that's unfortunate for me is that I'm going to be across the way for a bit, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that in a sec.
Whatever that could be for, but
I wonder
yeah.
what's going on there.
Maybe we'll find out later. No, but
yeah.
SFOP is a great person to bring up. SFOP is definitely one of those people who, there was some, like, how we look at 2020 is so funny because there was like, we think it was all this barren wasteland, right? But there was like a time where it wasn't. And I think SFOP for me was one of those players who in January 2020, I was like, he is going to be top 100.
Yeah.
I thought that he could be a breakout star. And I think that he has, I mean, like his bracket here, I like you pointed out, I think it's not easy to say, but
Null is admittedly also an incredibly hard round one.
Null really good.
I did the Ditto too. That's very hard.
Geo is incredible at the Fox Ditto. Ben is also really, really good at the Fox Ditto. He practices a lot with Justice, and generally just has really good game sense. There was a time where it felt like it was kind of a rotating thing, but it kind of favored Uncle Mojo, who is now Uncle Redacted for various reasons. And SFOP were just the grand finals. That was it for DFW. But so I think he feels pretty comfortable in the Fox Ditto. I'd be interested to see how he plays against Null. All I know is I'm bringing some masking tape, and I need to find a 4-square ball. But we're going to be back on the squares here at Low Tide. So,
well, you mentioned we mentioned SFOP in the Ditto. I like. I'm not sure if I want to call this a really rough draw for him because I do think that he is.
He's capable.
I think he's good.
He's capable.
I do think when people think of him, I mean, maybe this is just like his region. I mean, this is what we saw at DFW for a while. But I think like when people think of him, Puff and maybe not Icy's that much anymore, but that's what I remember watching all those Monday Night Melees. It's just he would destroy SDJ. He looked really solid versus Bananas. I don't think that he might not have had the head-to-head always, but
I think towards the end there, he was getting the head-to-head, especially like after the wobbling ban, of course. And that's kind of when Bananas started to trickle away from the scene and kind of focus his energies on other things. I still get to see him every now and again. It's kind of cool.
Oh, he's doing well.
He is doing well.
Player,
he's doing fantastic these days.
He was at the first Monday Night Melee back, right?
He popped in for the first one back, got like 3rd or 4th or something, and then came on and said, "Vote for Nick Yingling for Summit." And I was like, "All right, you're just as awesome as you ever were." So
that's dope. Yeah.
But yeah, we're talking about SFOP here. SFOP is definitely one of those up and comers who think this is a really good chance to show what they have. If you had to pick other people, who might not be as well known, who do you think you would pick? Ambi, do you have any
some sleeper picks?
Yeah,
I mean, maybe not
got
a sleeper pick. I do think I'm really excited to see Billy play again. Because I don't know, maybe this is just me, like Fox player brain. I just feel like whenever I see Billy play, it's so beautiful, right? Like I just feel like everything he does is so like sensible and clear and purposeful.
Wait, someone said Billy's not going. They just
what?
Are you kidding me? Did Billy just talk about it? No, dude.
The beautiful game plans. Well, that's good for SFOP at least. So that's not the worst thing.
That makes his losers a lot easier.
Dude, I gotta go back. I like
not able to go.
I was gonna rant about how cool Billy is, and now I'm left out to dry.
Well, Billy still exists.
Yeah, he'll be around hopefully. I mean, he's definitely in the like. I'm pretty sure he's an adult at this point. He's just been like perpetually young in my mind. So it's it's kind of a rough go on like getting that. I think he's of age. I just don't know if he has his own car. Is the big thing.
I mean, he's a smasher.
He
so
also
it could
just
really-
lives like in BFE, Texas. It's like an hour south of Fort Worth, which is just godless country. It's he has a really rough time going to locals or really doing anything there. But dang, that sucks.
That is very unfortunate. Well, if I had to pick someone else, I would probably pick either best player alive, Android Zero,
Android
Yes.
Zero is the best player in the world.
or Joey Donuts.
Statistical
I think
fact.
is going to this.
Yeah, I think Joey Donuts is. Joey Donuts is seated to. Where is he?
I
saw
haven't
him.
seen his bracket. I did think he was going there. I think that guy is pretty underrated, but
Joey Donuts is crazy good. Yeah, he's
Number
he's
2 in
seated to lose to
Minnesota
Curve.
now.
yeah, I think he could win that.
I think he could beat Curve. He also has Envy the round before, which
Do we even know what envy that is?
Yeah, there's like
yeah,
four
that's
of them.
Nick. That's
Okay.
Nick.
Oh.
okay.
Yeah, Nick's coming through. He's buddies with Albert. I don't know when that happened, but it happened. So it looks like Joey Donuts, Vincescent might actually go over to Joey. Honestly, Vincescent I think is good, but we'll see.
I think he could win that.
Yeah.
I think he could.
I think he could definitely win that. Joey Donuts is also a grinder. I saw the dude. It was like, I think it was Monday morning after Riptide, and I'm walking through the lobby trying to get everything ready. Ass crack of dawn, and I see Joey Donuts eating breakfast, has his AirPods in, and he's watching his own VOD, like already doing analysis. Like everyone else is burnt out, tired. He's like grinding, and then he goes live as soon as he gets home to stream and practice and review more VODs. And I was just
That's
like,
funny.
this dude wants it, man. Like he's a really great guy. He did the melee for Beirut back when Beirut had that huge explosion
Oh, hell yeah.
due to the unregulated leftover explosive waste that was just there.
I want to say my hell yeah was to him running that. Was
Yeah, no, not
so.
because Beirut exploded, but because we raised money to help with Beirut's explosion.
Yeah, I want to speak for Melee Stats when I say we are not in favor of.
We are not pro explosion. No, yeah, he's a really great dude. Very solid player. Yeah, I think he can go pretty far. Curve, of course, is playing a lot more Fox lately. His Fox has been making some good results happen, though. I will say
It's been making some good ones and a lot of
it's a lot of bad ones.
well,
Yeah.
not so good ones.
It
Yeah,
happens.
he's something I was thinking about him the other day because I was like, will we see him turn the corner? Because he's really, really trying. I think there's a lot of players who will see them with like a mid tier. They'll find a lot of success and then they'll hit an inevitable wall and they'll be like, okay, well, I can't do it with blank character.
Yeah. I think it's an ideological wall, honestly.
Yeah.
It's this point where you're playing Melee and you're like learning more about Melee and you learn about the limitations of your character and what it really means at a high level. Because it's like, oh, I'm getting camped at the local. I can overcome this. And then you get camped by like the best players in the world and you're like, this feels impossible. I can't do this anymore.
I do think that the players who we see say that change their mains and then like get no like results that are nothing like they used to be are usually the ones that aren't like grinding. And you can't say that of Curve. Curve has been grinding. We saw a lot of not great results on Slippy, but with Land coming
Slippy
back,
Fox.
decent.
I mean, it's always a rough
decent
one.
stuff.
But yeah.
Yeah, I also think this is my own personal perspective on Curve as a player. But I think that his Luigi was definitely very motivated by like contempt.
Spite. Yeah. No, I will
like,
come out and say
it was awesome.
I hated
honestly.
Curve's Luigi. I'm not even gonna front.
No, I hated it too.
It was
like,
a platform camping side platform
Yes.
Luigi, and it was the ugliest thing I've ever seen.
Yeah, it was
damn
horrible.
it worked. So
yeah, no, it was really cool.
Yeah.
Because I was just like, you have to be miserable playing this way.
Yeah.
But like, it's okay because
Yeah.
I can take it more than you.
I
I thought that was so sick, and I think that I think he needs to channel that really. I think that him being able to do that was very important to his success. So I think once he figures out how to do that with Fox, I think
Yeah.
we'll have some fun with him.
I think he's only able to do that versus Luigi. Do you remember? Like he had like 4 sets in a row with Eddie Mexico, and he would just like whooped him. It was just like 3-1, 3-1, 3. It's
Yeah.
like, yeah, we need to get some anger, and we need to channel it out.
There's definitely been. I became a Captain Falcon main back in early 2020, and I got to kind of escape the awkward middling phase of like learning this new character because I just got to disappear into the lab. Yeah, no, I just kill Luigi's now.
Hell
It
yeah.
feels really good. I'm not even gonna lie.
How yeah, how is your switch to Falcon? Have you won any majors, locals recently?
I was gonna say you're expecting big things of me, Weed. It's
This is how I view any player. Have you
Yeah.
won a major? Okay, then you're not good.
Have you won a major? No, shut up. Sit down. No, I was never winning locals with Luigi. Even I won like 1 or 2 in PM with the character. And nowadays I'm like placing a little bit better than I was with Luigi, I think. I've been getting like seconds and fifths every now and again. Which when like the second was with Fury was there. I think Fury is also sleeper really, really good. He's like right below SDJ in our hierarchy kind of. Because there's like our top 3 in Dallas, which is SFOP is like the sterling #1. He literally for a while there had not dropped a tournament to anybody since being back from quarantine. We had like an invitational, and then we had this open bracket with $1,000 pop bonus. Winner ended up getting like $600, but STJ won it in a really ugly set, and then Bobby beat STJ. So like he's just dropped the one tournament. He's dropped like 2 sets to Bobby, and 1 set to STJ. And then there's Justice, who has also been making waves as part of the Crack Shack, which I think is probably one of the most dedicated groups of individuals in the Melee community.
Yeah, they're nuts.
Those bunch of people, those folks, they are doing a lot. Not only in singles but in doubles. I think doubles they have been showing up. Tempo and Run Riot, of course, making big waves at Riptide. They were projected as 17th, which I thought was a bit egregious. I had them pegged as like top 4, top 5 material, and they ended up showing up and showing out. I mean, they barely lost to Wizard of Gatsu. They had a good run with Hungrybox Plup, who ended up winning the event. And I think you're going to see them a lot more. But another pick that you didn't really, I don't think anyone thought was going to go anywhere, judging by seeding and everything. There's 2 of them on both sides. So there was Travioli and Slow King, who are both incredible players in their own right. And then there's Secrets and Justice. And Justice being from DFW, of course, I have a lot of investment in this. But yeah, both of them, beating Fable Swooper, beating Twisty Silver, who are PM players, by the way, who made like 9th, which is great. But I think the Crack Shack crew is just really going to be putting out some of your favorite top 100 players in the next couple months or years. That's the Studebaker prediction. I don't know.
That's the Stude lock right there.
Oh, there you
The
go.
Studebaker lock.
Studebaker lock. I'm locking it in.
Yeah, definitely a dedicated bunch right there. Travioli, thought big things of him. I don't know how many White Claws he's White Clawed out of his gourd at lands too, or if that's
the dude
thing.
was sipping. I will say that. I ran into Trav after the day was done on Saturday. I was like, this guy's having a lot of fun. This guy's having a good time.
You and I want to talk Melee, but
yeah.
I got to say, I started the show off by saying we had a lovely weekend in the historic city of Boston. Me, Ambi, and Edwin.
Nice.
And there I discovered that they have, do you know what Spindrift is?
Spindrift.
Okay.
I don't know if I have them. Should I look it up or should I let you elaborate?
I'll elaborate. So
okay.
with the burgeoning sparkling water seltzer craze.
Yeah. It's a big
the-
market now.
It's a huge market. I'm talking about non-alcoholic. LaCroix popped up. Obviously, everyone tried to jump on that. You have Spindrift, who kind of does it a little bit differently. They are going to have a little tiny bit of fruit juice in there. It's going to be like a little tiny bit of like, fresh squeezed lime or whatever.
Okay.
And then they'll just pump the rest in with like seltzer. And it comes out, they've got like 5 calories because they actually use like real fruit juice. And I always thought those were super good. It's not like super effervescent. It's got like real flavor. I always thought those were great. We were in Boston. I saw that they had alcoholic Spindrifts.
Yo.
I got them. Eric, I don't think that you liked them as much as I did. I thought they were amazing.
Okay. Well, and I think they were good. I just think it was very funny when we were at the liquor store and we were like trying to think of what to get. And he's like, "Have you had Spindrifts?" And I was like, "No, what's that?" He's like, "Oh, it's like seltzer with a little bit of juice in it.
Yeah.
It's all right. Yeah, we could get those if you want." Yeah, and
I was
honey,
like, well, I don't
could
really
go
have
for
the
an
Corvette
opinion.
or the Lamborghini. It's
yeah,
really
but
up
onus
to
on
you.
didn't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, and I was like, "Is this what you want?" And he was like, "What?
Yeah,
I think that they're pretty." I'm like, "Yeah,
I mean,
we
if
could get it.
everybody
It's
else
okay."
is okay with it, I mean, I guess it could.
Yeah,
was
no,
be
they're
fine.
I like them better than like the Bud Light seltzers. So they were pretty
Those
good.
Bud Light seltzers are kind of trash. I'm like,
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
should. This is good.
This is good content.
Good content. I was gonna say, is this behind a paywall? We do have.
This is secret booze paywall.
We do have some content that's behind a paywall. It's kind of similar to what we were talking about earlier. We have director's commentary on Patreon. So if you really like our videos that we put out, we do that. But maybe it's in addition to the director's commentary, we do some seltzer rankings, because I haven't had a ton of all of them, but I have some opinions. I will say that probably the best seltzer I ever had. It was a bar right near my house. They had Bon and Viv on tap. Just the plain. I don't think you can get this commercially. Just plain, unflavored, spiked seltzer. And then they would say, "What do you want?" And then they'd be like, "I'd be like, I don't know. What does this mean? What do you like? What
What are you
like? What
offering?
flavor do you want?" And then they were like, "Here, let's do cherry lime. People love that." So they took like cherries and they took limes and they just muddled it up and they sprayed seltzer into it. It was amazing.
Sounds really nice, actually. Yeah,
That does sound nice.
I'm bringing. So Lucky is coming to Low Tide City as well. He is definitely up there for contention as a winner's side top 16 player. I'm excited to see him play, but the thing I'm also excited for, I got him a 4-pack of one of my favorite local breweries beers, because every time Lucky comes through, I try to get that guy a beer too. But yeah, I'm more of a beer guy than a seltzer guy, but if I'm trying to keep it light, a seltzer's always a good time.
Yeah, I'm definitely more of a beer guy. I'm more of a mixed drink guy, but it's like, I think it's the same reason why I will listen to whatever Drake album comes out. I want to be a part of it. I want to be
see
in
what
the
it's like,
conversation.
man. Come on.
I don't want people to be talking about something and me not have an opinion.
Maybe I could be a certified lover boy. That's all I'm
It's very possible if I listen to it enough. I don't know what the certification process is, but
yeah,
maybe he'll detail that on a future album.
Maybe that's why you got to keep listening. You just got to keep paying into it.
Notarized lover boy. That's what it is.
There you go. I do. There are some sleeper hits I think I have. I don't think Magi's a sleeper hit, but I am excited to see her going. Speaking of Sasha, there you go. But I think Prof, ALP, and Poppy are probably, and maybe Palpa too. Those are probably the ones that I think are most likely to upset their top 64 round one.
So, do you want to explain? I mean, I think I know all of these players, but I think that maybe like Prof, I think some people might know. He's the former Mewtwo. I don't know if he ever made Mewtwo, but
he plays
Mewtwo.
Yeah.
Sheik Marth from South Florida, very good player. But I think the Texas players that you mentioned might not be on the radar of a lot of people. So you have, it's ALP, it's not ALP, right?
ALP.
Okay.
ALP is
Poppy
from
and Palpa.
Yeah. Yeah. So ALP's from Rio Grande Valley, which is
Mhm.
like the southernmost strip of Texas. It's literally right along the border. Um, and it's home to like some really interesting cultural crossover with Mexico, but it's also super far from like anywhere else in Texas. From Houston, it's like 8 hours. Um, it
Damn.
is, yeah, it's far. Most people when they think of the border think of like El Paso because it's such like a popular border city, but like you get down into like Crystal City area or like RGV. Um, and that's pretty far away. I mean, like let me see here. Crystal City, Texas. Yeah, so Crystal City, since Zavala. I feel like Crystal City. Are they border? Are they near border? Yeah, they're right near the border. So Crystal City is actually a super historical. That's not where Rio Grande is, but it's closer to the border, where the Crystal City crew comes from with Caveman and like Fast Like Tree, all the OG.
And
The
Proud
legends.
Like Cow.
Yep. But yeah, so ALP comes from the Rio Grande Valley region. He's the best player there, but he's also like one of the best players in Texas. Has been like consistently top 5. He's got Mog round 1, and I think ALP's one of the best foxes in Texas against floaties. Um, Mog, of course, Messenger of God, player from I think MDVA.
MDVA, yeah.
Um, he's good. He's really really solid.
Really,
And
an out of region killer. I don't know
yeah,
if you're
Yeah,
talking about Mog
I think Mog is horrifying, dude.
he's really
Have I
good
have
against
I
spaces.
have I told my Mog story
Hit me with the
before?
Mog story.
Yeah, no. So there's a period a couple of months ago where I was like pretty active
Mhm.
entering tournaments and stuff.
Yeah.
I remember at one point, like I had like super studied really hard versus Peach, right? I was like super grindy versus Peach. I was hitting up Peaches all the time to play, and like like I beat like B bats or something,
Yeah. Nice.
and at a local.
Let's go, maybe.
And I was like, yeah, dude, I'm sick versus Peach. Let's go. I'm doing great. This is awesome. I play Mog, and Mog is streaming, and
Yeah.
he's like blacked out.
Oh
He
yeah.
is
Mog
he's
is
gone.
always a little bit.
Yeah,
I
he was
think.
not a little bit. He was a lot of
Yeah.
it. He tried to send me a DM of his DMs, and he linked me twitter.com. He was
Okay.
very drunk.
Okay.
I played him, and I've never been destroyed as hard as Mog blacked out destroyed
my
me.
God.
He just down smashed me for like 130%
He's
every
got
single stun.
really good down smashes.
I have no idea what happened. I was like coming off of like doing really well versus Peach, and he just like pools Marthed me.
Yeah,
with
no,
Peach.
he's like he's got the he's got dumb brain when it comes to melee sometimes. Like the dude, I remember playing him and he would just like he'd be down smashing on platform. I'd up air him for it, and I was like, surely he'll stop doing this at some point. But then I'd get hit for 70 because I just got sucked up into one, and I'm like, maybe he's just smarter than I am.
Yeah, it's like
Maybe the
it
dumb
wraps all
brain
the way
is
back
smarter
around to
than
being
where I'm
like
at.
super genius
Right?
level, right? It's like
It's that risk reward. You just gotta
Yeah.
hit one.
No, I money matched him at Riptide I think Sunday morning, and I'd seen him the night before, and he was kind of drunk, and I was like, Mog, we should money match. I'm pretty good against Peach. And he's like, yeah, man, we'll run it in the morning. And I was like, cool, I'll see you whenever. And like, I woke up at like noon, and I'm like, yo, I'm down at the setups. And he's like, cool, let me get down there. And he gets down there, and he's like, so I haven't slept, but let's run it. It's just like, you're nuts, dude. And he still 3-1'd me, but I was like, this guy's crazy good.
He's definitely a really scary player to see in bracket of like a major or a regional. I do think that the when there was a lot of in-person locals, he like everyone had his number in MDVA.
Yeah.
Juicebox was like 11-1 or something. Bobby, I think lost maybe one set and won everything else.
Yeah.
You just had a lot of people who like I guess
Kind of
you
rocked him.
play
Yeah.
Mog a few times, you kind of get it. But that being said, in a situation where you don't have 12 sets a year to play or 20 sets a year, and you just have one set in pools, yeah, dude, he is a scary player.
Yeah, Mog can get your goat. That's a for sure. But jumping on over to Poppy. Poppy's really a solid player. He's one of those Fox Falco mains that like has extended periods of playing either, however he's feeling about it, you know. So we could see Fox, we could see Falco. He's set up to play Scherzo, really good player out of Chicago. Has been basically Chicago's like 2 or 3 or 4, somewhere around there. Been placing really well, basically losing to think just Michael and a few other people. And so that could be either Falco or Falco Fox or Falco Falco. So I'm interested to see what comes of that. And then Palpa is probably the one that people know the least.
Yeah.
So Palpa is sometimes CFW, sometimes Austin, either for work or for internships in Austin or for summer vacations in DFW. For a long time was like middle of the pack puff, like definitely top 10 material, but like kind of got kept down by a lot. Has rapidly evolved into like a top 2 or 3 DFW player. It is no longer clear whether Palpa or STJ is the best puff in DFW. He also has one of the best foxes in DFW against puff. He refuses to play the puff ditto for reasons I completely don't understand. And just solely has a pocket fox for it, and it looks amazing in the matchup. But he's set to play Lucky, so we'll see how that goes. That's definitely a rough round 1 draw for Palpa, but it's possible. Puff is a crazy character, one could say.
Puff's quite a character.
Something. Yeah.
Look,
there
I'm
is
not gonna
always the
speak out of
potential
turn.
for there's always the potential for Cascade versus Zamu 10 a.m. pools type stuff.
God bless.
Yeah.
Oh
yeah.
man.
I don't want to overstep any bounds, but Jigglypuff is certainly a character in Super Smash Bros. Melee. And, it's all that needs to be said.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, Lucky. So Lucky, we've talked about him a couple times.
Yeah.
He's interesting because he is very good. One of the best players of all time. Been super good for such a long time.
He's in a weird spot.
Yes, exactly. I have no idea what we're going to get from Lucky. We talked about Shroomed. I kind of have more of an idea of what we're going to get from Shroomed. Because I think it's going to be one way or the other, right?
Yeah.
Lucky, I have no idea. So we're talking about it. We're getting into it. Let's let me bring up the question. Is this an event that Lucky can win?
That's a hard maybe for me. It's so he's got kind of a wonky path, even just to top 16. So he's got to go through Palpa, and then he's got to go through Albert. Albert's been able to beat him before. If he loses to Albert, he has to play STJ, which I'm pretty sure he can win. STJ, really solid puff player from DFW, top 3 in DFW for sure. But I think that Lucky can probably win that one. Looking at top 16, if he wins all the way through, beats Albert, he has to fight Kodorin. And Kodorin has been looking amazing versus SoCal Spaceys. Very, very practiced player, very, very intuitive. Just puts the work in from what I've seen, and does not hold up on results. Has been looking incredible. A top 8, I believe, at the first major back.
Top 8 at Riptide, yeah.
Yeah. There was a really funny PTAS tweet that was not meant to be rude or anything towards Nick Yingling, but it was like, yeah, so if there were 9 summit attendees at Riptide, and 8 of them are in top 8, and of course it's Yingling's not in top 8, but it's okay.
There's only so many slots. There's only 8 slots in top 8, so
yeah, Yingling will actually be at the event as well for Melee singles.
Nice.
He is, unfortunately, got him seated to play Napkins round 1 of 64. Who Napkins is? Napkins is there's an echelon of players in the Smash scene where losing to them is a rite of passage. Whether it's okay, man, everybody gets rocked by this guy, or it's you get put in a fucking group chat. There is the I lost to napkins chat, of which I am a member. And there's also the I lost to Bob chat, which is a Chicago Puff player. And it is just something in our culture that I think is one of the most beautiful things, where it's like, you stupid moron, you lost to this player. Welcome to the chat with the rest of us. So I think that could go either way. If Yingling wins that, he has to play against Vincessant, which is also doable. And then he has to play against Null. And I was sitting down at a friendly setup with Null and Yingling, and I'm just gonna go ahead and say it was winner stays, and I didn't play Yingling for very long.
All right, Stu, this brings me to my next question.
Mm-hmm.
Can Yingling win Low Tide City?
In a perfect world, yes, but we are not in this perfect world. Unfortunately, Nick Yingling is my boy. He has been my boy for a number of years. One of the people who's I've stayed at his house like way back in like 2018, and like I was there when the poop house finally dissolved, which is where he was living, was this place called the Poop House. It was just this dark shade of Adobe brown, and yeah, I would pull for my guy as much as I can within all reasonable bounds, but unfortunately that does not extend out to Yingling winning the tournament.
All right, so if Nick Yingling can't win this tournament, then who can?
So I've got my little top 8 projected bracket pulled up, and I think this, in terms of who I think can win flat out, and who has been looking like the best player out of all of these players, I think S2J is a clear favorite. He's first seed for a reason. Johnny has been looking incredible lately. Has just been looking really, really solid. But at the same time, the distance between each of these players is not nearly as big as, say, if there was a Hungry Box Mango or Zane there. And even H-Box kind of feels like he can bleed a bit more lately.
Well, Mango is going to be there, just
Mango's...
only for doubles and ultimate
singles.
Did he do that on purpose, or was that like a clerical
he said
error?
He just wants to come goon and commentate and like enter doubles with Lucky. So 4-Leaf Mango is making an appearance.
That's hype. I wonder if they're gonna DQ at 17th or win the entire thing in dominant fashion.
It could go either way, honestly.
Almost exclusively either way.
Yeah.
with 4-Leaf Mango.
With how their track record is, man. It depends on if they are able to get out and party on Thursday night. That is my firm idea of what could happen. So Mango, like if any of those like just high echelon players were here, even if Plup was here, I think Plup Plup or IVDW are both in a super winning position in this bracket. Cody coming off the back of Riptide, unfortunately not able to make it up to Low Tide. But I think that Johnny's definitely my clear pick. I think that out of the top 8, pardon me, I think that I would be most surprised to see Zamu Shroomed, of course, being the bottom 2 seeds. But realistically, we could see either a Kodorin or Axe win.
Yeah, I think Kodorin is an interesting one because I think that he has a good shot of winning, but only in the scenarios where Axe busters out.
Yeah,
I think if
I
Axe
think
anywhere
Axe
near
has
the
to
top
lose
of
to someone else.
Yeah.
before he reaches Kodorin,
right?
Because I don't think that 70-1 is going to happen.
Yeah,
honestly.
But I do think that he has good shots versus pretty much everyone else. And I think Axe could just win.
Yeah,
I think Axe is like.
Absolutely.
It just depends on how he does that day, rather than the bracket that he has. Really,
yeah. So. It's super up to like. I'm gonna peel back on Axe's bracket here because I do want to get a look at that real quick. So Axe is projected to play Kodorin in top 8. He has Shroomed.
Very Sheik. Scary for Kodorin.
Yeah, Shroomed playing Sheik. We could
in like 2016, that'd be really scary.
Yeah. Now I'm not certain. You know, Shroomed is like also for being such a party animal and for drunkenly, hangoverly ruining brackets for really 3 times. He's a really well put together person. He like works a full-time job and just like Melee is his hobby. Like dude is literally killing it. Like
always the embodiment of someone who was pretty naturally gifted at Melee, and like that's a really loaded statement, which a lot of people
yeah.
have a lot of thoughts on. But what like from all that I heard, the time and effort that he put into Melee for his career was kind of dwarfed by every other player who's as good as he was. So
Yeah.
Shroomed, the type of player, he's not in practice. He plays Sheik. Definitely the type of player to lose to, like any 16-year-old Fox main. But
it's possible.
but being, hey, I think that I've said this. Give me any Fox main that's in high school versus like a 30-year-old Sheik player. I'm taking that Fox main. I don't care who it is. I don't need to know their seeds. I literally only need to know their age, and I will take that bet. Yeah. But Shroomed also, like we said, on the flip side, that's someone who's been so good for so long, kind of doing maybe not this inactive, but
he's been chilling for a while now.
So we can see. We'll see.
Down below, top 16, Axe does have #1 player in the world and in our hearts, Android Zero, which could either be Android Zero or Billy Bo Peep. Another toss-up one. I mean, it's hard beating #1, honestly.
Oh, we kind of know that Billy Bo Peep's not going, so.
Oh, right. That's my heart.
I had a very brief moment where I was like, "Wait, that's really exciting." Billy versus Falcon is super interesting because he has that.
Screw it. We're getting Billy there. I don't know what it is.
We're flying him out.
We're flying him out.
Melee stats, Billy Bo Peep.
We'll get him a jacket.
There you go.
Oh God.
Yeah. So
all these jackets.
All of these jackets.
I gotta stop.
I'm marking it down in my little book. I'm getting ready.
Yeah, you're at 2 right now.
2. I'm
you get
stacking
nothing
them
at 2.
up. I know.
I'm even get a T-shirt.
I'm getting
an episode at a time.
Yeah. So that means
like,
Axe has
Edwin. Why did you plan Stewed month? Oh no!
Oh no! Shucks. Yeah. So Axe does have a notable Chicago villain, No Fluxes. Isn't Trail also a Ganondorf player?
Trail is Icy's Ganon.
Okay.
So we probably didn't see.
Yeah, Icy's probably seems a little more likely with Trail then. Axe, if he ran into Icy's, he also ran into Fluid at that tournament, and he beat Fluid as well. Which
he did really well versus.
Yeah, I thought that was going to be a
really worried about him when I saw Fluid coming on stage, because Fluid's sleeper really good, even without wobbling. He beat Fiction and I think it was Genesis 5. He beat Fiction.
Yeah.
And kind of kicked off Fiction's whole like, Ices are not a good character. I'll show everyone how to beat them, and then proceeded to get his shit pushed in for like 3 years against Bananas.
That was the whole thing that started it. I mean, like you could argue that was the set that got Fiction back to Melee, because Fiction previously was. I used to call them G and E smashers. Like, people would say like, "Oh, I'm a C and E Christian." Like, I'm a Christian. Christmas and Easter.
Cafeteria Catholics. Yeah.
I haven't heard that one, but that's
because you pick and choose what you want. Yeah.
True. Well, I always thought of him as a G and E smasher, which was a Genesis and Evo smasher. Now we're not at Evo, so I have to come up with a new.
Gotta figure it out.
I'll figure something out. But I always would call him a G&E smasher because he would go to every Genesis, he'd go to every Evo, and he'd go to literally nothing. Maybe a week before, he'd beat Hugs. He'd do that. He'd go to the event. He'd get 21st or 33rd, and then that was enough. And then I think he got like 65th, losing to Fluid. Fluid, who I believe
I don't think
for most of his career, not a wobbler.
He didn't wobble Fiction.
Yeah, I know he didn't.
I got pushed
back
on this when we were writing Jeopardy, because my original clue for Fluid was wobbled Fiction before it was cool. And then I play tested it, and they were like, "He didn't wobble Fiction."
Jeez, sorry guys. But there is an interesting kink in the No Fluxes match, and that's if No Fluxes loses to Secrets, which pretty possible.
Is that set up?
That's what it's seeded for. Right before top 64 winners round of the pool, No Fluxes versus Secrets. So
That's amazing.
We may see the rematch. I don't know if it's intentional because I think the same people that did low tide seeding did riptide seeding.
No, two different teams actually.
Two different teams.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, that's good. But
Yeah, dude.
that is so funny. Then I may bring it up and be like, we should probably move secrets or no fluxes, just so.
Oh, I mean, it's too late at this point. Fate has already
Yeah.
been decided.
People are already bad about the seating. You can't be changing stuff now.
Yeah,
It's fun. It's like when
I'm not affiliated
anytime,
with T-Lock at all.
dude. It reminds me of when Triff would go to the UK and they'd always find a way to play Sechi.
Oh, I
Be
love
like-
that.
Be like, oh yeah, you're fourth seed. Sorry.
Oh, that's crazy. It's a real shame.
Oh yeah, Sechi's 8th seed. Oh, you're first seed.
God, it's so brutal. Poor Triff. But man, Sechi really just had that guy's number for a while.
And who knows? Are we gonna see the new Sechi Triff? Is Secrets the new Sechi?
Oh, maybe we just casually see them for acts every single time. The Tyler Swift practice is paying off, I'm sure.
Yeah, like we talked about it on the show, but I remember seeing on Twitter someone say, "You're not ready for my boy Secrets beats Axe," and I'm like, okay, literally everyone has said this about their friend in like every major.
Mhm.
This is like like when Twitter started, you can probably find those tweets.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, my boy's gonna beat J-Man or whatever. Like they've existed for so long, and I'm just like, okay, cool, yeah, sure. But evidently, this person who I randomly saw on Twitter, they were onto something.
Yeah.
So we'll see. And you know what? We talk about Axe's bracket. I actually don't think that it is. I think the players who he's playing are really good. I think Andrew Zero, best player in the world, is amazing. I think Kadoran's amazing. I also don't think that those are horrible people for Axe to find a bracket.
Yeah.
That being said, if Secrets can find his way in, who knows?
Yeah.
Might be a whole nother game we're looking at.
Yeah, I think those are definitely the easy could win. I don't really see Ginger winning the event. I think that Ginger is obviously like a cut above most other Falcos. I also think that provided Kodorin beats Gatsu, which probably is going to happen because Kodorin's been looking really good against Falcon. Kodorin Ginger's going to go down, and I think Kodorin's just going to clean him up, honestly.
Stude.
Yeah, I don't know if I would say that Ginger is better than the other Falcos. I think that was true like 4 months ago.
I mean, what other Falcos are we thinking here?
Well, I think that there's...
If you watched our last episode of Waiting for Game, you would know that Logan has asserted that Mango is the first best Falcon, the second best Falco is Flash.
True. I mean, Flash is cracked as just.
Well, I just think that I think that it's not like Ginger got worse or anything.
No,
yeah. I think he's still quite.
I think
good.
other Falcos just got better.
Yeah, it's like I think Frenzy, Flash, and Fiction. Those would be my picks.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the 3 Fs. I think that I think all 3 of them are about the same level as Ginger right now. And that might be like a bit of a hot take, but I think that they're all very talented.
I think
I wouldn't say he's a cut above.
It's possible. I would just want to see more results out of them because Frenzy, it's hard because he's out there in the UK. Flash is forever sitting in the hidden temple of Ohio, and Fiction has not really been entering much. I know he's been doing a lot with game dev and also unhinged tweeting.
Well,
I wouldn't say unhinged.
There's been definitely some worrying ones
under the influence, maybe.
Maybe, yeah. There's been some stuff about the psychic battle of the universe, but
Hey, who doesn't think about that?
It's why I put my phone away during psychedelic trips. There's reasons.
He says what we're all thinking, but
he's just what's on our mind.
Fiction's a big he's a big Verdugo West monster. I'm not sure if he goes to every local for SoCal, but I don't know how many they have. But he makes sure every like Monday or whatever that he's going to be almost certainly in bracket for Verdugo West. And yeah, like he lost to S2J this past week, took a set.
Okay.
He's lost to Kadoran, but he's also won over like everyone else. Yeah. He's won over Army, he's won over West Balls. He's taken sets off Kadoran. taking sets off of Lucky and S2J. It's crazy.
Yeah.
And I really want to see him on a large stage because his Falco, it's so funny. It's
It
so
is. It's
not
definitely
what
like
we want to see.
it's definitely the most like weird Falco. Like it's just it's
I'm
it's goofy.
truly not smart enough to describe it because I was thinking I
Yeah.
was watching him. He got 3-stock by S2J in set 1 of Grand Finals, and then
Yeah.
like I think it was like 2-stock, 2-stock, 2-stock or something like that. He brought it back, won 3-1, and it
Okay.
was just like S2J could not move.
Yeah. No, his
The way
lasers. Yeah.
it's the lasers. He's really willing to, like, he's just really willing to go back to neutral. He's
Yeah.
like, okay, I probably won't get anything else off this. I'll hide back and laser F tilt jab, whatever, laser
Yeah.
jab.
Well,
laser.
he plays it like flowchart Ken almost, where it's like if you've ever played Third Strike and you've ever played against like a good flowchart Ken, it's miserable. It's literally they just have they know their confirms, they know their setups all the way through, and they will only play that way. But it's such a good character that it's so hard to deal with. And just the fact that they're able to reset to neutral and be like, okay, well, here's Hadouken. We're going to reset. We're going to get that going, pull out the gun, everything. Yeah. Fiction, another player that I feel like has a measure of spite in his melee.
Absolutely.
I think some of
Yeah.
the greatest players in the game play melee out of a little bit of spite, and Fiction's one of them. Absolutely. My dream run is to see Lucky win this tournament, but that's that takes a lot of hope and a lot of elbow grease, I think.
What
Yeah,
would
it's
your
weird.
what would your brain run be?
My brain run, not my heart run.
Not your heart run, your brain run.
My brain run is definitely. I'd say Johnny Axe Grands, Axe resets, Johnny wins.
Hell yeah.
I think Axe is super capable of either beating him or at least resetting. If Axe wins in winners finals, though, I think Axe wins the tournament.
Ambi, you were someone that's interesting. I want to hear what's interesting.
Well, I want to talk a little bit about Lucky because
Mhm.
I think that Lucky, he's very weird.
Mm-hmm.
And that's it.
I
That's all
think
you want to say.
no,
It's just a strange dude.
It's a segue. Oh my goodness. But yeah, it's like you see his results, and it's like not like he's in a slump really. It's just he's just very wonky. Like I remember like very early on in the pandemic when he started beating Keizu.
Oh yeah.
That was just insane. Like he would like lose to like Bobby Big Balls or something, and he would beat Keizu, who was like infinity and 0 against him. That he would just like do like crazy shield pressure up smash roll reads into screaming on his stream or whatever.
His stream is hilarious. I will say.
Yeah, no, and it's like I'm very excited to see Lucky at more LAN stuff because I really just have no idea how good he is. I'm just like, how are you beating Keizu? You could never do this. Like,
yeah, dude, he did that to Kadoran. I think it was Netplay for Palestine. I remember watching Netplay for Palestine, and he kind of got washed by None in winners, and he makes it back to Grands. And after he gets washed, everyone's like, all right, None 3-0, so he's got this. And I'm thinking to myself, I think Lucky has this. Lucky is he's so good against Falcon. I think the people who are really good against Falcon that we've seen are people who we don't generally consider the most like rigid play styles. I think him and Cobalt are probably like the two best players versus Falcon we've ever seen.
Yeah,
relative to the skill level.
Incredible.
Fiction also really good. Yeah. I just think the way he plays versus Falcon's so funny. He just plays like he's playing like a combo video, and it works. Yeah. He's so good versus Falcon. Yeah, when Johnny's when Joey's on, it is amazing.
It's great.
He's hitting all this stuff, and it's like, come on, you didn't have to do that.
Yeah, come on, man.
Come on, you didn't have to like off stage nair shine him. It's like,
yeah.
I do want to kind of while we're still in the neighborhood of top 8, before we transition over to talking a little bit about my tournament. It's it's interesting. I think loser side top 8. We've got Magi Lucky, which I'd be interested to see Magi win, because that would set some really interesting scenarios up there for losers. Because then it would be Magi Shroomed instead, which could see Shroom advance. And then Nut Shroomed. Nut has been on my radar for a long time. He used to come to DFW because I think his girlfriend lived here for a while. I don't think they're dating anymore, but like that's complete aside. They came through to DFW.
We'll bring that
when
up
he
later
was
in
like,
the show.
yeah, we'll talk about it later. Don't worry, guys. We'll talk about the dating lives of all of your favorite players. But I don't know what his head-to-head with Shroomed is like. I could see him making a deep bracket run. Nut is a very good player. I really wish that Nut and Vavez were both at this tournament solely for doubles, because they were another up-and-coming teams duo that was just doing work. I thought that they were such a good team.
Yeah, I don't even know if I'd call them up and coming. I think that they were just top players at doubles.
True.
I think they got that pedigree.
Yeah, they definitely earned that. Gatsu Bobby Big Balls. Bobby Big Balls over Android Zero, I think, is going to be a bit of a toss-up. I think Android Zero is an incredible player.
They ended up playing at Riptide, actually.
They might have.
Bobby was able to take that.
Yeah, Bobby had an interesting run at Riptide. He actually played S2J for 33rd and 3-0'd him. But so Bobby Gatsu, I think that's a hard Gatsu favor. Bobby could do it. And then Zamu over Albert is a tricky one for me. I think that Albert, in my opinion, is more favored than Zamu, but Zamu's been looking really, really good lately. And so, yeah, that's a bit of a toss-up as well. So I think Shroom Nut and Gatsu Bobby Big Balls might be the most set in stone in my head. But Lucky Magi and Zamu Albert, I think, have the biggest possibility for an upset. So
that's the upset potential. Baby. And then we have your heart pick as Lucky and your brain pick as S2J.
It's a little asterisks for X. Yeah. Asterisk.
All right, you got 3 picks in there. Okay. Eric, what do you got? Who do you have winning the tournament?
Brain pick is S2J wins straight. I think X does not reset.
Okay.
I think X gets second pretty definitively. I think he loses really early to like some random person and then makes it all the way to losers finals. Yeah.
Always fun.
Yeah. My heart pick is Axe. Because what I want to happen is I want Axe to lose really early, and I want Kodorin to make a massive run and beat S2J in winners finals, and then Axe just win through losers. That'd be so funny. That'd be the best possible outcome for me.
That'd be so deflating to watch.
It would be so not deflating all the way up until the last set of a tournament.
True.
Like, can you imagine losers finals? Like Axe after 7 sets in losers versus S2J, and it's like a last hit game 5 into Axe versus
just
Kodorin.
washing Kodorin.
Yeah, it's like Four Loko Fight Night. Remember that?
Oh yeah,
yeah. Keizu just barely lost to S2J. We just saw him get blown out.
Yeah.
Those are some good brain picks and heart picks. Generally, we don't do brain pick and heart picks, so I'm gonna meld them together.
Okay. Who you got?
My entire body is making this pick. I'm gonna go Gatsu.
Ooh.
I'm gonna go a little crazy.
Okay.
So Gatsu would have Ginger. I think that the traditional notions of Falco versus Falcon, I think is like kind of being rewritten.
We're shifting. It's
especially seeing like Nun versus Ginger. That is a rivalry that doesn't tend to be too close.
So funny. I love watching our new Canadian god just working Ginger. I can't wait for him to be able to descend down into the United States once more and work his magic. Honestly,
hopefully soon. But yeah, I will say Gatsu on this one. For a little bit during Slippy, we saw him as like, we're like, okay, is he top 10? Is he like, what do we have to? We were looking at him. He was just beating everyone for a hot minute. So I hope we can get back to that. And I do think that, yeah, I think he really does have the ability to beat Ginger. I mean, I've described Falcon on this podcast before as fast Zangief, and
Yes, I like that.
look, I don't think it's wrong. There's a lot of really things. There's a lot of things that happen very quickly, and if you pick the wrong option, then you're gonna get need on your tech in place.
Yeah.
So I think Gatsu's really good. I mean, that does put Gatsu versus S2J, which the high level Falcon dittos that we've seen are always like really, really up in the air.
Mm-hmm.
You know, when it was like S2J, Wizzy, none. There was always like
It's like a rock paper scissors.
It was a rock paper scissors, but then like the next year it happened, and it would like shift. It'd still be rock paper scissors, but like different people would be beating other people. So I definitely think that's possible. I do think that Axe would be hard if Axe makes it there, but I don't know. Like we've seen him do pretty well before versus Axe. We've seen him beat Axe online for whatever that matters. But yeah, I think this would be super cool. I like, obviously this is a heart pick that I'm like trying to tell myself it's a brain pick, but I think if we were able to see Gatsu come out of this as what? He's probably like the 5th seed. I think that'd be really, really cool. And I think that would be like establishing, he's already been known as a very good player, but establishing himself to a level that I don't think he has been at before, even after like the Shine run.
The Shine run I got to see live. That was an incredible run.
I got to see live too. I think Ambi was there too.
Yeah, shout out to Boston.
I think that was the Shine that I was at.
Yeah, Shine
Unless it was the one I had the fever.
The one Zane won.
Yeah, no, I was there. I left early, but I did.
Oh, dude, what a grands though. Oh, yeah, no, I think Gotsu's an interesting pick. I mean, if he beats Ginger, like you said, Axe is the stumbling block. But even if he doesn't beat Ginger, I think that Kodorin would be an interesting set.
Yeah,
it'd be a good time. I am really stoked to see whatever happens on top 8. I'm commentating it with the cheat and also with Mango. We're doing a little tri-cast action.
Oh, sick.
And so you'll be getting all of us handsome boys up there making things happen.
Friend of the show, the cheat.
Friend of the show, the cheat. And, huge Mikey fan.
Mango, I don't think has any title with regards to Melee stats.
No relation to Melee stats.
No relation.
No relation at all.
Speaking of which, there is a tournament of which has no relation at all to this one.
No, it's as some of you may have seen or inferred, I am currently distanced. That's a terrible wink. Currently distanced from Tourney Locator, operating as an independent tournament organizer for a tournament called Shipwrecked. And Shipwrecked was born out of necessity due to yet another instance of Nintendo strong-arming a small community into not playing the games that we love and simultaneously losing customers while doing so. But Shipwrecked is a P+ tournament. We also have Beyond Melee there as well, but it's mostly a P+ tournament with a lot of heavy hitters. We have 85 entrants, but the top of the scene is looking absolutely super strong. We have hitters like Sosa from SoCal, Lunchables from Texas. Now he's living in, I think, Michigan. Nog from Florida, who has been making waves recently in the post-quarantine era. Let me see here. We've got Twisty as well from, Twisty, Kais, and Kumatora, all from the Northeast in New England.
So
Blue, there's all kinds of crazy players.
Who's Kumatora? Is that someone you mentioned?
Yes.
Who is? Because I know. So Sosa and Twisty, I believe, are both Wario mains.
Mm-hmm.
Nog is the DK, right?
The DK. He's got a lot of characters.
He's got a lot of characters.
The dude plays most characters in the cast at a fairly high level.
Is Kais a Charizard?
Yes. Kais is a Charizard player. Kumatora is a Ness player, and she has recently been basically standout #1 in Massachusetts, which is a very deep region for the game.
Is that Silver was from Massachusetts, right?
Yeah,
Or is that a different Silver?
Silver is from Mass. Silver might be placing top 3 or 4. I don't know if he had enough tournaments to qualify, but yeah, it runs pretty deep. We've got former Arizona #1 Blue, as well as I Love Bagels. Blue now lives in DFW. Basically, it's just looking stacked as hell. And I'm very proud to be able to bring this together basically in 2 weeks. We had 17 days of head start, and we're going into this weekend full bore. I've got a great team of folks: Arsenals, Saber, Motobug, Melee Sad Posts, and Absolute Black, who is a friend of mine, who long time old head in the DFW scene. But we're basically coming together. We're doing it right across the road in an old settlers association. So we're gonna do our best with what we have, and hopefully have a kick-ass tournament. We've got a food truck. We got a food truck there. We're gonna have tacos.
Yeah.
It's gonna be bitchin'. And I've been basically sleep, eat, breathe, everything for Shipwrecked. I've managed to get our. Let me see here. What's our pot at right now? The pot is sitting at $3,754.61, raised fully from the community backed. We got a huge donation from Alpha Rad, absolute hero.
Nice.
Would there ever
be a part of would there ever be a stretch goal for you to shave your head or something like that?
Yeah, there is actually a stretch goal now that you mention it, for me to shave my lustrous locks for $5,000. And now, if you go to the Matcherino link, I'm going to totally post in your Twitch chat, if that'll allow me to do it. You can literally just get money into the pot for free. All you have to do is click those connect codes, those coupon codes, or you can also contribute to the pot by following certain social media sites, part of the sponsor quests that are available on Matcherino. And there's also some purchasable benefits as well. You can buy the extra cool guy gal Vamer roll in the Shipwreck Discord for $10. 5 of that goes to the prize pool. And then I personally have another goal for picking you up physically. And that one, we will recreate the photo. I don't know if you saw it, of me pinning Motobug to the wall. And yeah, so you can buy one individual extra cool guy roll in the Discord. There are 10 available physical pickups from me, but you can actually just buy all 10 of those if you've really got a hankering. So
does this have to be
big investments?
Does this have to be redeemable at Low Tide City?
It is redeemable at all times. Okay. So if you want to, you could buy all 10 and then stretch it out for the next foreseeable future.
Yeah, Ambi, Melee Stats is gonna pay for Stu to pick it up.
I'm getting back into the gym. I'm getting my shoulder looked at. I mean, we're gonna really be primo stuff right there. But it's an exciting time. I've had a lot of fun thinking of ways to make this tournament as great as it is. We've raised that $3,700 and probably an additional $1,000 for venue staffing costs. And yeah, it's all gone back into this event. Basically, it's going to be crazy. And I'm basically, so I'm showing up Thursday night with Mikey in tow. We crash, maybe do some setup. I might help with some setup there. Thank you for purchasing an instance of Stude will pick you up physically. Weed, I see that there.
It is official. It has been purchased. You will have to pick me up at some point.
Very
are you
well.
going to main stage?
I am going to main stage. I will see you there.
You'll pick me up at main stage.
I don't know, because you're also a fairly large man. I don't know if I can do the under the shoulder hands pickup. Motobug, who is the sample picture, is 120 pounds sopping wet, but I can likely pick you up from around the waist, and so I will hoist. It will happen. We will get a photo too.
It's good content.
Yeah.
We will sell that photo for more than $10. Melee Stats will make a profit off this.
It's all about that money. It's all about that money, boys. but it's really been an incredible opportunity, and for me, it's kind of my first time doing an event like this. I don't really have a ton of TOing experience. Like, there was times back in Alaska where I did some TOing in Fairbanks, which was always a little small. There was a little bit of stuff that I did in Texas, like helping out, of course, with all the turning locator stuff, checking seating, making sure things run smoothly. But mostly I've been a commentator player. I did start up a P plus meetup / tournament, again, which has been really, really nice. We've been doing that weekly again, having a bracket every night, have no prize money, just free. But that's been kind of my I dipped my toes into it, and then when I learned that we were going to not be able to run at LTC, I was like, well, we're jumping in both feet. And so I got a team of people that are much smarter than me, and they've been basically helping me make this happen. Incredible bunch of folks, and I've been really glad to be able to do it.
So talk to me about the state of Project Plus right now, because I feel like unfortunately this idea of having to run a separate tournament it's not the only time we've seen that. Obviously we have Undertow, which I will say that was a Melee Jeopardy question that I wrote. We did thesaurus tournaments, and
Nice.
so we would give you a synonym. Oh my god.
Yeah.
I went through every number I knew. Oh god.
Every word in the thesaurus for the synonym.
It's safe to say that the caffeine that I like mainlined before the show started is ending. But yeah, I think that we deserve compensation for Undertow. But like, yeah, we are seeing events that have to pop up. So I guess like the question is, what the state of Project Plus is leading us is what does the future of this game hold?
Yeah, so P plus is kind of in this, I mean, we've been in like a murky legal territory for a long time. And we've kind of always had, since the initial shutdown in 2015, to kind of fly under the radar and be really, really grassroots, mostly doing, self-funded, self-presented, and self-put together events. We've had virtually no sponsors, virtually no interest from anyone to be able to go ahead and like assist with that. So it's all been by the community, for the community. And for a while there, with all the anti-Nintendo sentiment that kind of got stirred up when Nintendo canceled Last Big House, for running on Slippy, which they accused us of being thieves, which I will not say is true. I'd say that literally any TO in the world could ask the Melee community, hey, do we have enough discs to be able to justify running on Slippy? We can say we can rip the ISOs from them. I mean, some people I know have like 3 Melee discs. It's this thing where the community as a whole got vilified for not really doing anything. You can't buy Melee, you can't buy Brawl or a Wii or a GameCube from Nintendo. And so it's been this, the sentiment got stirred up where it was like, okay, yeah, fuck Nintendo, fuck Nintendo. I can say that on here, right? We're good. Yeah, fuck Nintendo. Thank you. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't
allowed to say Nintendo.
Okay. Shit. Okay.
No, please say Nintendo. Please say it as many times as possible.
It's the sentiment comes up, and all of a sudden, the P plus community is like, we I don't want to say we told you so, but we've also been kind of suffering out here, and we're standing in solidarity with you because we know Big Papa Nintendo's like just an abusive father. Like they don't care about us. They just want the illusion of control, right? Like it's not something where they have ever been giving anything meaningful to us. At most, they've given us enough credibility to get other sponsors, but even then, they've restricted those sponsors from helping us in meaningful ways. For the Melee community, it was the Red Bull circuit that was going to happen. A lot of other investors were looking into it, and so us being back at majors was this huge step. Riptide announced that they'd be having P Plus very publicly. Low Tide City announced it, and when Main Stage announced it, BTS, Beyond the Summit, being the most legitimate esports organization to say, yeah, we're going to have this at our event, really gave us this sense of legitimacy, and really gave us a lot of warm fuzzies. I mean, the PM community felt great. We were doing fantastic through quarantine. We were having a little rough because we're still on delay-based netcode, but like the hope of in-person majors with other Smash games and being able to introduce new players to the scene was really in everybody's mind, and it was really crushing for all of us, I think, when the first cease and desist came through for Riptide, and that happened 2 weeks out from the event. The team came together for Undertow, Motobug, Melee Set Posts, and a few other folks. Really made a great tournament happen, and that's kind of where we're at. As far as I know, because as someone that is completely not affiliated with Tourney Locator, probably wouldn't know. Their their stance on it was to maintain radio silence, not advertise it, and see if Nintendo just kind of lets it slide by. And as you all know, that didn't happen, and I had to step in and get all these folks to help out with it, and hopefully make a tournament that is amazing. I am very, very hopeful for what is to come. But our current state, coming from this kind of bit of history I gave you, is we're running shadow majors again, which is kind of what we were doing before. We have our own events. Blacklisted in the Northeast is going to be happening in November. That is a standalone PM event. And Jailbreak, which is a shadow major, is also supposed to happen in November. Sorry, I'm like I had barbecue and I'm getting a little burpy. It was really good barbecue. But yeah, so shadow majors, basically attaching themselves to majors and running them in concurrent and separate venues, is probably going to be the go-to other than standalone events. Part of us, or some of the community, me included, think that the reason Nintendo does this tends to be around Nintendo Directs, if you've noticed. There was a Nintendo Direct after the Big House cancellation came through, and there's a conspicuously large Direct with the latest Smash reveal coming up October 5th. So part of us thinks that because they don't care sometimes, right? There's been tournaments that have had P+. Low Tier City, every iteration has had P+ up until this one. And so it's been this kind of hedge your bets moment on, whether or not Nintendo gives a fuck, basically, on what's going to happen. And so it's part of me hopes that eventually we can just run it smooth, do it fine. And I think the sentiment's still there that Nintendo sucks, at least within the Melee community, somewhat in the ult community, because they haven't really been, bitten by the hand that feeds them yet. Yeah,
Sure.
eventually they're going to get
Not to
really
be
screwed
too
over,
cynical.
and they're going to be like, who could have seen this coming? And all of us are just going to be like, well, I hate to tell you, but
Yeah, they'll have like an Among Us skin for the Ice Climbers or something.
Yeah.
Just get completely
showered in money. No, I do think the fuck Nintendo chants at Riptide were awesome to see. For those of you that weren't there or didn't see the clip, Slippy basically crashed, and we had to reboot Slippy, and it was up on the stream, and everyone just started yelling "fuck Nintendo," and it was great, because you wouldn't have seen that like a year ago, 2 years ago.
Yeah.
Well, 2 years ago, yeah. But
yeah, I mean, when I got into the scene, I got in the scene in 2014. We were still under the illusion that Melee HD would happen, and that we were under the illusion that we wanted Melee HD to happen.
Yeah. I think that Melee HD would have to be a hell of a port to fix any ill will. I don't think it's going to ever happen.
I hope it doesn't happen.
I hope they never do it.
Can you imagine, like, they port it to, like, Switch, and there's, like, input lag, and you can't use GameCube controllers? It would be a nightmare.
I'd hate it.
They'd probably do PAL.
Yeah.
Do you want to play PAL?
No,
I don't want
I don't
to
wanna
play
play
PAL,
PAL.
dude. Yuck.
They have like some free for all event. They invite like Plup to or something.
Oh God. Yeah. So the most recent like event they announced, they were like, you could win a jacket. I'm like, you could win
A jacket, a backpack.
Yeah, it's like you're gonna win like $1,500 if you come to my event down the road. Like, if you win the tournament, man, you get big bucks. You get your travel and everything basically paid back. And
it's so funny that's still big bucks to us, right?
comparatively,
Like, you look at these other esports, like the Fortnite
I mean,
tournaments.
shit, even Brawlhalla.
Like, I know,
man.
like, Aiden's little brother, right? I don't know if you guys know about this. Aiden's little
Yeah.
sibling. He's a
Mhm.
Fortnite player, and he got like
Yeah.
49th at like a big Fortnite
and he got paid more
regional,
than like
and he won like
Yeah.
$8,000 or something. And it was like, dude,
yeah. Where
where
are
are
we?
we on this?
No, yeah. I think about companies that actually have dev support. You know, like Brawlhalla has like a 10K prize pool bonus every single tournament. I think about, you know, Nick All Stars Brawl has Ludosity, and I know that they're going to be pretty involved devs. And I'm very excited for what's to come with that. But I dream of just if Nintendo even just left us the fuck alone to get money from other people.
It would be so great.
Yeah, because like companies are interested in us, they just don't get to play with us.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a parent being like, you can't play with those kids. They're not good. I don't know. It's frustrating, and I mean the future. I am hopeful that my main goal, my secret goal, now that I work at Smash GG, is to work here for 20 years, make my way up to the CEO of Microsoft somehow, and then proceed to sue the nuts off of Nintendo with whatever money comes from that. So we'll see. You know, I am eternally hopeful. I am cautiously optimistic, and I will always say it with my whole chest. Fuck Nintendo. We're making shirts, by the way, and you should buy them. They say "fuck Nintendo" in the big Project M font.
Where can I find this shirt? I'm buying one immediately.
We are launching a Teespring campaign. We're tastefully putting an asterisk in just in case there's kids around and you don't feel like wearing "fuck" out there on your chest.
I'm wearing this shit everywhere, dude.
Absolutely. But
I unfortunately wasted all of my money on getting picked up by someone, getting physically picked up.
Shucks. The $5's got to go on over to that. But we are excited to be able to bring you guys this opportunity with Shipwrecked. Yeah, I basically ruined my sleep for like 3 days. I did like a 24-hour stream and everything. Like, yeah, it was a lot. But the team is doing impeccable work. I am always so thankful for people that have been doing this longer than I have, because I might be the guy that had to kick things off, but they are the heart and brains and muscle of this just as much as I am, if not more. So yeah, that's pretty much all I have to say on Shipwrecked, other than you should absolutely give me money. You know,
wait, that's what we're supposed to say.
If there ever was a time to shill, you know, let's get it going, boys.
For sure. It really does seem like an event, you know, that obviously you and a lot of other people have put all of your effort into. And I think it's an event that deserves people to, deserves some support from people. Now, we did see with Undertow, we saw that it was not streamed live, but it was streamed later. Are we going to see that as well with Shipwrecked?
We are shooting to have a stream.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Yeah. So our goal is to be able to have a stream there. I've been trying to get a hold of this guy from the Williamson County Old Settlers Association and be like, hey, so I would love to get a speed test of your internet and a copy of the floor plan. I've like emailed this guy twice. I've called him and I'm just like, Don't tell me Nintendo got to this guy somehow. Please don't let that have happened.
Well, we got an email from someone called
Yeah,
Nintendo.
this Nintendo fella, he's saying that y'all are terrible. But let me see here. So at this time, for Project M's largest prize pools, let me see here. I think we're like number 7. I'm not certain. Let me check. Where did my link go? Let me see here. There it is. Biggest.
Yeah, I think that's dope though. Regardless of like maybe the entrant count maybe being a little bit lower. I know that Low Tide City was like historically very frequently in the top 10 attendance wise for Project M. So it's cool to see you guys still pull
definitely
really hard.
the post-COVID era has been kind of uncertain, but things have been doing pretty well. Yeah, currently we are number 7. If we surpass $3,895.01, we'll be top 6. So
Nice.
yeah, if we crack 5K, shaving my head and everything.
What does end everything entail?
I don't know.
Okay.
And all that other stuff. But if we crack that, even if we just crack 4650, we'll be top 3 prize pools. So
Wow.
I'm really proud of the community to be able to bring us into the top 10. I'm extremely hopeful that we're able to see more as the stream is going on and as everything is going on. You know, people seeing what we're doing, seeing that we are, fighting to exist as this community. But yeah, it looks as though Wisely, another good lad,
Friend of the show.
Is saying that it was not streamed because of internet issues, not necessarily Nintendo issues.
Okay.
So going forward, our goal is to always be able to stream it on Twitch. We will be streaming under the Brawl category since we don't have our own category.
I remember that. I remember when there was a category for that.
There was one very briefly for like part of quarantine, and then it got quickly shut down. But it was nice while it lasted. Some concerned insider in Twitch probably got reprimanded for that, but whoever it was, we thank you.
Hats off. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, I mean, obviously the best ways that you can support Shipwrecked, it seems like if there's a stream, viewership for this type of stuff, I imagine would be super important. And also, we have the match arena. We linked it in our Twitch stream. Our match arena. We'll also try to get that linked in the description of this YouTube video. Definitely something that I think, we had a whole episode with Wisely. We talked about the similarities that the Melee scene has with the P+, the PM scene. I think we as a Melee fans and as Melee diehards, whoever's watching this, like, we consider ourselves diehards. I think that there's a lot to be seen in the PM community. That's another community full of diehards. So I think if we're able to support events like Undertow, events like Shipwrecked, and Jailbreak, I think that the scene has a lot to gain from helping them out like that. So I would say, if you are at all interested in Project M, Project Plus, yeah, everyone should totally check out Shipwrecked. Do you have any we talked a lot about Melee, about who's going to win it and everything like that. We don't have another 2 hours to get into to Shipwrecked, but I think a lot of these people might not know what to look out for. Do you have are there any players in particular? You said you have Sosa and Lunchables. I know those are 2 like really big names. Is there any like narratives that anyone who's watching for the first time might be able to cling on to?
Absolutely, and I think a long-standing rivalry is definitely Sosa Lunch. For the longest time, they not only didn't really care for each other as people, but as players, and it kind of showed. But I think that the times have passed, people have aged, it's gotten a lot healthier, and I know that this is going to be a kick-ass tournament. Seeding's projected to have Sosa win. He's been the most active of the 2 of them. But Zach put up a really good showing at Undertow, ended up at 2nd, losing to the Doctor, who's a
Was this with
NorCal
Roy?
Marty. Was with a mix of Toon Link, Roy, and Marth. Mostly his Marth is probably his best character, and most likely who he'll bring out in a lot of matchups. Yeah, but I think that is probably our foremost storyline. Other storylines to watch out for: the rise of Nog, coming into the scene. Definitely one of the most active net players now, putting up numbers in person in a big way. Very, very solid player. Got 4th at Undertow, I believe. And then I think if you're just a Texas guy, you're probably going to be looking out most for Fearless, Apathy, and Arsenals. Definitely a bunch of hard hitters out of Texas that could make a good bracket run, but we'll see.
Awesome. Yeah, so that is Shipwreck. That is coming up this weekend. If you are interested in watching, I would say, is there a Twitch yet, or should they just go to the Brawl channel?
So what will be on?
Category.
What will be on is the Heart Swap TV. We'll be working with Melee Sad Posts to get over on that. Trin has been doing a lot of amazing work to become one of the streaming hubs of the community. She also has the Wave Slime Invitational, which is going to be a huge invitational that is got some of the best players from the Melee, Project M, and Ultimate communities. I know that Panda Global is also doing something similar, but they're doing it more with a streamer-heavy focus rather than a community-favored focus and like community players. Obvious exception being Lud, because Lud is actually pretty solid at the game, I'd say. Not bad.
I shouldn't draw attention to this guy,
Yeah.
but there's a there was a video that came out this week that was like calling out Slime for being bald Leafy.
Oh, yeah, the anti-haxers, yeah.
And in that, well, the pro haxers.
Yeah. No, but they called him an anti-haxer.
Like they called him.
Yeah.
Oh yes. Sorry, it's there's a line of videos. We shouldn't be.
No, we can do this. I don't care.
the only good thing about the video was he was like, Slime was only popular because he worked for BTS and was friends with former top 100 player Ludwig.
Former top 100. They saw that Hotels.com esports highlight from like 2016, 2017.
2018, dude.
Was it 2018?
Ambi played Ludwig in a friendly that was taped by Hotels.
That was it was one of the most horrible experiences of my entire life. Because it was fine at first, right? Like he sat down next to me and I didn't really notice what was going on.
Yeah. He didn't see the crew or anything.
He was like, "Yeah, I'm Ludwig. You want to play some friendlies?" I'm like, "Yeah, I'm Ambi. Nice to meet you. Whatever."
I'm Ambi. You've made fun of my podcast.
Yeah, I did say that, but I did think it. And we start playing, and I just start seeing like this thing in my peripheral vision, like come down, and I'm like freaking out. Like I'm in the middle of a friendly.
Yeah,
with,
you're not expecting anything to come from above you.
And I look up, and it's a boom microphone, and I was like, "What the fuck is happening?" And I'm like, I turned around, and there's like 4 people holding cameras filming my friendly with Ludwig, and
he didn't give you any notice here.
Yeah, no, I was completely blindsided.
Okay.
And I SD while I'm like freaking out trying to figure out what everything's going on.
Oh no.
And I'm like, okay, well, whatever, it's a friendly. And he homie stalks me. Like with Jigglypuff. He just floats off the screen in the middle of our friendly. And I was like, this is awful. I win the friendly and I'm like, hey man, I gotta play pools. It was great playing you.
Go.
I ran the fuck away. I was so uncomfortable, dude.
Yeah, no, being on camera unexpectedly sucks ass. That's so funny. Yeah.
No, it was very funny in hindsight. I just remember at the time, like, just being like, "Oh my gosh,
like, what the fuck is happening, man?" Yeah. No, that's a good time, man. Yeah, I think I'm very excited for Low Tide City. I'm very excited for Shipwrecked, and I'm stoked to see what brings the pod back on the review for Low Tide. So,
yeah.
If you want to make it 3-time friend of the pod, Stu.
All right, calm down there. It's a little
Gotta get that jacket. Gotta get that
jacket.
A little
too close to the jacket. If you want a jacket, win that Smash Ultimate tournament.
Man. I'll give it a try. I'll wear my free P plus tag all the way through.
Yeah, right. Let's hope you don't get like assassinated or something.
The red dots have been trained on my house for months, so
This is legally considered a joke, right?
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
But before we get to the end of the episode, we do have a segment. It's questions. We ask questions from our Patreon. I know we don't have a ton of people in the chat right now, but if they have any questions, they can throw them in there. Here's the thing: I kind of forgot to ask for questions until like 30 minutes before, and
Okay.
we have a bit of a running joke. Well, I actually don't think it's a joke. I feel very serious whenever I say this. Patreon, our supporters are great on there. They usually don't come with very good questions.
Okay.
So the fact that I gave them 30 minutes, they're kind of
They're even more worrisome than before.
There's some rage being fomented in the Patreon section because they're like, how are we supposed to come with questions? And he's gonna say they're bad. I'll say this: what was come up with was very good. Fizz,
Okay.
Chicago Fizz. He had a
Absolute
great
legend.
question about P plus and shadow majors that you kind of went over, so we're not going to ask that.
Oh, rip Fizz. Oh no.
Pikachu 942.
I did like Pika's question.
Yeah. So she says, how does it feel being so tall like Luigi? I have a follow-up question. Do you think Luigi's considered so tall?
So let's go ahead and start with the first part of the question, which is how I feel. So because it's all about me. So for me personally, being tall is like, it's a bonus. It's pretty cool. I like, I'm definitely on like the end of the spectrum where it's like, you're like 6'1", you're like tall, right? 6'2", you're like pretty tall. 6'3", you're like, okay, slow down. 6'4", you're like, that is a big fucking dude. And then 6'5" starts like where people are like, that's a fucking giraffe walking around. So I'm like 6'7", and certified freak 7 days a week territory. People definitely like stare, which I think is really funny. People come up to me and of course ask, do you play basketball? Or, and ask like for help with things. And of course, I don't mind helping people. Like if I'm like in the grocery store and someone's like obviously struggling for the top shelf, I'm just like, go get it, easy. So that's never a bad thing. I love being tall. I wouldn't trade any inches of my height for anything, other than copious amounts of cash and or Bitcoin. So feel free to take an inch off my calves if you can at least get me 5 Bitcoin. So we can run it then. As for Luigi being so tall, I think that he is tall for a human, unless we take New Donk City's horrifyingly uncanny valley people into account. I think for the Mushroom Kingdom, he's probably like one of the taller people there. But it's also kind of weird because there's so many other sentient life forms. But in terms of the people, like I think he's still shorter than Daisy or Peach.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like, are dudes just shorter? My short kings out of
Is
the
he
Mushroom
shorter
Kingdom?
than them? I feel like Daisy and Peach are always wearing heels, so it's kind of hard to say. Maybe during like Mario Tennis. I have to see.
Hey,
No,
speaking
they've
of
got
Mario
the
Tennis,
canonical height for Peach is 6'0". I'm going after her.
oh god,
That's very tall.
And then Luigi's only 5'9". Like
I was gonna say
he would absolutely get crushed on the Tinder game.
I was gonna call him 5'10", 5'9".
Mario's
Oh.
only 5'1".
No.
Yeah, Mario's 5'1".
What's Waluigi? Because Waluigi would probably be the person.
Waluigi.
If you're talking about tall in terms of Mario characters, I think you got to go with Waluigi.
7'7".
Okay,
What the fuck?
That's like Manute Bol. That is like tallest NBA players ever.
Yeah, that's a big ass boy. Like, how tall is Wario? Okay, Wario's also 5'9". So Wario and Luigi are the same height. And then there's just this monster Waluigi.
Okay. Well, that's
Okay.
how tall is Rosalina? Like 8 feet tall?
She's got to be huge.
Let's see. I'm going on
Rosalina,
Reddit to find this. Maybe not the best.
her height is shown to be equal to Waluigi's height, so she's
Okay.
also 7'7". So
7'7".
screw Peach. I'm going after Rosalina, boys.
Yeah, we're getting into a dangerous territory here.
Dangerous territory.
But
Shouts to a Peach problem on Reddit. I'll never forget you.
God, that is a throwback. Yeah,
Oh
Peach
my
problem.
god. Having a Peach problem.
All right, well, I appreciate that answer. Now, follow-up question. I do have a follow-up question about you said basketball. So this it wasn't this past weekend.
Mhm.
All time has, lost all meaning to me. 2 weeks ago,
Yeah.
I was in Chicago with Jim Jam Flim Flam.
Jim Jam. That guy's so
friend
funny.
of the pod. The first night there, we were talking about whatever, and I said that given enough time, I could dunk. And Jim Jam is a very funny person. He's great off of riffing. If you put a concept out there, he can take it and run with it. I think I went right past the comedian side of his brain, and I hit the athlete part.
Okay.
Because in addition to being very funny,
He's very good at basketball, right?
He's devoted a lot of his life, I guess, to being very good at running, and he's a very good athlete.
Okay.
So something about me saying I could dunk. He had a lot to say about this. I said, well, Allen Iverson, Russell Westbrook, they're 6 feet, they could dunk.
Yeah.
And he said, okay, you mean some of the most athletic people we've ever seen? So he was I'm 6'2". He was very he didn't think I could dunk. And I didn't dunk to prove it. Like I didn't show him up. That's not how the story ends.
Yeah.
But at one point we were wondering if you could dunk. We thought of the tallest Smash related person we could think of. So I guess my question is, can you dunk?
So I don't know. I don't think I can. I have never been able to dunk my whole life.
Okay.
My vert is dog shit.
Really?
I'm like large, but I'm not like spindly, right? Like I weigh like 320 pounds right now, and at my lightest I was at like 230. But it's never been something I've really practiced for. I did basketball up until I was in 7th grade, and I was going through such horrible growing pains at the time that my knees were just like busted, basically.
Oh, jeez.
And I was doing basketball tryouts, and they were like, "Yeah, we don't want you on the team." And I was like, "Okay." And I like had a quick cry because I was a child, and then ate an apple fritter the size of my head and felt immediately better, which may be a complex or something. I don't know, but it's never been something that's been in my realm of skills. My toolkit is dunking. It's just I can definitely post up. I can be a nuisance with the ball, but it's never been something I can get going on the court. See me on the squares though. I'm surprisingly
the squares.
The squares.
The fabled squares.
It's
yeah. Well, on this podcast, Edwin Budding has been working out. I recently have been lifting weights regularly, and Ambi's always doing something.
Yeah.
I don't know what he does. He does something. So we've all been, on a little bit of a journey,
a little grind,
and we talk about how we're gonna see ourselves at a major in a year. We're all gonna be super buff. I want to
super swole with the boys.
Let's roll you into this. We're
okay.
We're gonna go to a major before 2022 ends, and we're gonna dunk.
Okay. I will do my best. My realm of expertise has always been lifting. Actually, I used to be a power lifter in college. I still put up pretty decent numbers, but I'm not where I used to be. So I mean, I'm definitely down to work on jumping a bit more, because I feel like I definitely made my body into something that's more like barrelly thick, meant to like pull big things up and down. my bench is always horrible because my arms are like so long in comparison with my body, and so like a bench is just like throwing it all the way out there. But yeah, I love lifting. I'm gonna be back in the gym after this whole fucking weekend is done. I felt like tearing my hair out for like the past 2 weeks, just trying to make sure everything runs smoothly. Um, but yeah, I'm gonna get back in the gym. Probably start waking up around like 8:30 or 9 or something. Heading into the gym before work, doing a lot of data analysis, and getting back to the grind.
Yeah, and 2022 we will dunk. I will say, I passed the other day. I was on a little bit of a walk in my neighborhood, and I passed a empty basketball court.
Mm-hmm.
I was in like jeans. I did not stretch.
Yeah, you just went in raw. Yeah,
I just went in raw and could not get my fingers to curl over the rim, but like completely got the side of the rim.
you got the slapper. That's a good one.
So we're on our way there. And then, yeah, 2022, we will both dunk. I don't know when. Hey, maybe it'll be a summit. Maybe that'll be the team. It'll be me, you, and Mikey.
Oh my god, we would.
Can you imagine?
We would post up on these. That's all I know. I mean, Mikey's kind of insane on the court. Like,
Dude, just let him score. We'll do pick and rolls. We'll get
get it all.
rebounds.
Absolutely.
It'll
That's
be
two of the
like,
best posts right there. You see these melee players, they're manlets, man. Like, come on.
Yeah. Dude, it'll be Dennis Rodman and Ben Wallace. We'll kick their asses.
You can be Dennis Rodman. No.
I'll have my hair dyed. I'll be wearing a dress.
There you go. There you go.
But yeah,
expressing North Korean sympathies, you know.
Well, yeah. Well, that's in a few years.
give it time. Give it time.
I got to go through his entire career.
Oh, yeah.
He probably dated someone weird. I think that was the thing. But we're not talking about that. We're ending the show. Show's coming to an end. So you actually kind of hit on something that we like to talk about at the end of the show.
North Korean sympathies.
Yeah, we end the show by talking about our motherland, North Korea. No, we end the show by talking about something that we've been into recently that is not Melee related. So much of our time on the internet seems to be like only talking about Melee, but we're more than that. So you were talking about how you've been interested in lifting recently. I'll start this one so you can have time to figure out what you're gonna say. Lifting would be a great one, but I actually am gonna pick something else. You know, even though I've only been like really lifting daily, well, not daily, but close to daily for like a week or so. It's been great, but I'm gonna pick something else that was really interested in me recently, which was the YouTube channel. I think a lot of people who share politics similar to me will know it. It's called Not Just Bikes. It is an amazing YouTube channel based on walkability of cities. It's based on how to, like what is happening in certain cities that make them very car friendly, like what can be done to alleviate some of the stress. Like it goes into a lot of topics on why a lot of big American cities have issues regarding like the necessity for cars, like bad public transportation, like bad bike paths, and it compares them to other cities that do it right. The one caveat being like the guy loves Amsterdam, so he will talk about Amsterdam in every video. But it's really very interesting, and I think there's a lot going on to it. There's a lot of history as to why our cities are so different. There's a lot of legislation. I would probably suggest that any of his videos are a good starting point because they're all kind of hit on the same topic. They just have their own like nuances as to how to look at it. But if you're looking for an entry point, I would say The Missing Middle is a video about just the types of houses that like are not legally able to be built in most American cities. And it's really interesting for anyone who is into kind of like city planning or, like a world that might not require a car to get everywhere. I think it's really cool. That being said, I know a lot of people in Melee Stats were watching that, and the next week when we all saw each other in Boston, we had Edwin drive us places, and we took Ubers somewhere else. We did take public transportation.
Boston is horrifying.
It is.
If
there's any reason, if there's anything to make me think that like, we were talking about the joke was that Melee Stats in 40 years will like our end goal is to eliminate cars in a major American city. Boston would be a perfect one.
Boston would be a great place to
show.
start. It's a fucking awful place
It was
for
horrible.
driving.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
And
I'm
Edwin
looking
is
at
out
this.
there. He's running between cars, and he's like, "Why aren't you guys following me?"
Yeah.
It was impossible.
No,
But yeah, mine would be not just bikes on
I'm
YouTube.
looking at not just bikes, and I see a video called "Why City Design is Important," parentheses, and why I hate Houston, end parentheses. And I have to say, I was born in Houston. Actually, I moved around a lot as a kid, and then settled in Alaska, and then moved back to Texas. Houston fucking sucks.
It's a great video.
Houston is a great city in terms of culture and food. Music is amazing, but the city's like infrastructure fucking blows, and I will die on that hill.
As smashers, there's a lot of smashers who, we've got a lot of smashers who drive till everything, like drive like 8 hours, 10 hours, which is
Yeah.
super awesome. There's a lot of smashers that, if you fly into a big city for a major, you have to experience it without a car, and I think that that's like a real telling point for how the city's able to operate. When I was in Chicago recently with Jim Jam Flim Flam,
Yeah.
we took the CTA everywhere. Their transit was amazing and accessible and really easy, and cheap. It was really great. And I think like we've all had experiences where we go to majors and you can take like a subway to get this really cool spot and like get cool food, or you could even just have a bunch of options within a walking distance. And then we all been to majors where you have to go to like the one Quiznos that's right outside the
Yep.
major, and then there's like a 10-lane highway between you and anything else.
Yeah.
So I think Smashers, we are a traveled bunch. We are like uniquely like this. These videos will speak to us in a unique way, because I think that we have lived so much of that experience of like having to be stranded in a big city, and then you find like, oh damn, I don't have a car, so I can't eat.
Yeah. No,
So
it's
I think this channel is really sick, and I think that if anyone's interested in something like that, aside from this being like Amsterdam, shill central, I think that it's very, very good. Eric, what's going on with you recently?
Well, if I'm not allowed to talk about melee stuff, I have been playing a lot of DDR, I guess.
Ooh, nice.
I've been getting pretty solid.
Is that
at
your
it.
pad
It's
in the back there? Yeah.
DDR pad that I built on a piece of plywood.
Nice.
I did make so this I think would be pretty funny. So those of you who have had the privilege of playing a dance game at an arcade should know that a lot of people use the bar, right? They use the bar to stabilize themselves because balancing on no bar on top of the pad is very, very difficult. I've mostly been playing no bar because I didn't have a bar, but normally when I go to arcades, I play with the bar, so like it was like a very difficult transition for me. And like I went to like the Stamina Nation Discord channel, which is like where like super elite DDR players hang out or whatever. And I'm like, what do you guys use for a bar if you build your own pad? And someone recommended me this thing on Amazon, which is very weird that I actually bought it, but let me show you really quick. Yeah, it's like a walker. You know what I'm saying? Like for old people.
Oh my!
But like
that makes sense.
You use it backwards.
That makes
you
sense.
Hold yourself out like this.
Oh my goodness.
So I'm like a fucking 27-year-old that bought a walker on Amazon.
Oh my goodness.
I don't know if I even really like it. It doesn't really feel like the bar at the arcades, but I paid like $20 for it. And I'm just like, well, now I have this thing.
That's.
But I did buy it.
I guess the grip's different too, because you've got to grip it backhand like that.
I know a lot of people get injuries playing with the normal bar.
Yeah.
Because you put too much weight on it, and then it does this to your wrist or whatever. So the wrist position is not that bad.
Yeah.
And I was able to clear some pretty hard stuff playing on the stupid walker.
There you fucking go.
But that is a funny thing that happened to me recently, is purchasing this thing.
Wow. Is it cool if I hit some of the chat questions before we head out?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's see. What got me into the scene? It was my friend Dustin. We were working at a Cub Scout camp in Alaska that has since been shut down. One of my favorite places in the world, period. I worked there for 6 summers. And it's very, very, very dear to me. But he brought his GameCube and a few conches, and he basically started me off teaching me all the crazy stuff in Melee. I'd played a lot of Melee and Brawl when I was younger. We had a Wii when I was a kid. I played both of those a lot, but it was never like with the intention of getting super cracked. It was just like to beat my brother. And so he kind of set that off and really got me into it. Let's see. What P plus moment was I most hyped about? Lunchables winning Smash and Slash 4, honestly. I've known Zach since he was, oh gosh, probably 15 or 16. And like he's been in the scene since he was like, he's been like competing in PM since he was like 12, and then he was like doing like Brawl Wi-Fi when he was like 8 years old, like Brawl Skype net play codes and things like that. So like seeing him win SNS4 was my favorite moment of all time. Let's see, and Seal, we are going to run a commentary block whenever it happens. I'm super down.
Oh yeah.
It was real fun doing it with you, but I feel like we definitely could use another commentary block to get to know each other better. Also, let's just grab a fucking beer, bud. Like, I love commentating with new people, but I also hate it. It's always hard to like not know someone, and you have to like fly in on the seat of your pants and be like, let's figure out how each other work for this real quick. Haha. Yeah. So that's I think that was the only ones really folded in, but yeah, I had a lot of fun today, boys.
For sure, it was a great time. I really do appreciate you being on. I think that you have a lot to say about the both Melee and P plus, which I think is something that I think is really super cool. And like I said before, if you are someone who's listening to this or watching this on YouTube or Twitch, I think that there's a lot to take away from this. The P plus scene we've talked about before. We do think that it's super cool, and what they're going through. Like if we talk about ourselves as Melee fans, it's like the implicit history is that like we played this game when no one else did, but really the reality of it is that most of us have been playing this game while it's been the hugest Smash game.
Yeah.
So props to the people who are living that history that we tell ourselves. Like the people who play Project M and Project Plus, like those were the people who really did play the game that the dead game or whatever people called it.
Dead game. Yeah.
So huge props to the community and huge props for you for running this. I'm excited to see what Shipwreck is gonna look like, and yeah, excited to see what Project Plus holds in 2021 and 2022. Hopefully, I mean, who knows what the future is going to be like, but hopefully we can see it actually in the venue of a tournament. That'd be nice.
I would like that as well. All I know is they're not going to stop us either way. But yeah, thank you for having me. Thank you for having me on the pod. It's always a pleasure with y'all, and I've got to try to catch up with Wisely. He's been doing a lot of the Melee PM guy podcasting stuff, so I got to beat him out. But we'll see.
You'll get the jacket before Heat. You got the one. Ooh. You got the layup. You already had an episode with us.
Oh, I'm getting there.
So if people want to follow you, Twitter, Twitch, what kind of socials? Where can people follow you?
You can follow me on Twitter at it's Studebacher Hoch with a 0 instead of an O. And so it's long, it's annoying. I've been thinking about just rebranding to Studebaker, but I did that for Twitch, so I think I'll just leave Twitter as is. We will see. But Ambi, we thank you, of course, and I think that's it for me.
Awesome. Yeah. If you want to follow us at Melee Stats, you can watch our videos at the Melee Stats YouTube channel. You can watch stuff like this, Waiting for Game. You can watch other bonuses. You can watch uploaded sets on the Melee Stats archive. If you want to catch these episodes live, you can do so at twitch.tv/Melee Stats. Our Twitter is twitter.com/Melee Stats Pod. You can find daily reporting for locals, both online and offline. And you can find links to our articles on meleestats.co, such as When's Melee each Friday and Monday Morning Marth to start off the week. And if you just love what we're doing and want to support us, you can do so at patreon.com/Melee Stats. Stude, I am looking forward to you picking me up. And fans of Melee Stats, you'll be the first to see that picture. I'll make sure
Patreon
that
exclusive.
everyone gets that.
Patreon exclusive. Make it happen.
Patreon exclusive. That's a new tier. That's a two large men picking each other up. I'll also pick you up.
There we go. There we go. It'll
yeah,
be like a
that'll
Luigi
be-
ladder. You know,
That'll
we
be
just-
exclusive tier. That'll be when we launch our OnlyFans. Stude, you're amazing. You're a wonderful guest. I appreciate you for being on, and yeah, I appreciate everyone for watching. For Waiting for Game, I'm Gimme That Wheat. I'll catch you next time.